So I'm an expert in resurrection belief. According to Jewish burial traditions, which I'm an expert in, what I am an expert in is codicology and paleography, how we date manuscripts based on handwriting style. My expertise is what we call extra canonical gospels. I'm an expert in Roman crucifixion.
You know what we call that, Vish? You know what we call that?
What would you say your biggest accomplishment is? What field? I'm one of those rare sorts of people that has, say multi. I'm a polymath. I'm a polymath.
You sure about that?
Yeah. I mean, we'll find out today a little bit, I think.
And all about the barrel-tritions that he's an expert in.
The barrel.
Enunciation is important, people.
You were
I've
stuck
noticed
on that
a lot of people
a little
of
bit.
various age groups, just their tongue just doesn't want to work. And so all these words slur together and I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. That's fair. So hi everyone. I'm Kip Davis. I'm a specialist in early Judaism and the Dead Sea Scrolls and a scholar of the Hebrew Bible. And it's Friday, the 10th of April, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here on the Pacific Coast.
Can believe it. It's a Friday once again.
Every Friday, this is where we are, where we've been. Although, in 2 weeks, it's going to the Friday in 2 weeks is going to be the 24th of April, which is the day after my birthday.
The day after your birthday.
And I like streaming on my birthday, so we're going to do that instead. And I'm very excited because I have oh wow. Holy shit.
Oh,
He's
snap.
here. You are early, sir. Welcome.
No, it's right on time.
Hey, look at that. Wow. So awesome.
Let me log in so I can stream this to my YouTube.
I'll just keep talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am excited to announce the last couple of years I've looked at a PhD dissertation on my birthday, which is, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? It's the funnest thing you could do on your birthday, I think. So that's what's happening again this year. And I'm very excited to announce that for the first time, I will have a special guest on. And my special guest will be the relatively recently minted Dr. Jordan Jones to come and discuss his PhD dissertation, which is, I'm super excited about it. So that'll be Thursday, April the 23rd. And yeah, honestly, the day now that Wes is done, I'm placing that call. I'm writing that text. Come on, man. Come on. Let's talk about it.
I already have money on this. I have $1 that he's not going to finish. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, but
he's already punched his ticket with all the apologists.
Yeah. Feels like it, doesn't it? So,
perhaps I'm a cynic, though.
Well, you're in. I think you're probably in pretty good company. I feel like I am also perhaps a little cynical about this stuff. So, it's been a while. We're still waiting. So,
oh right, I almost forgot. Tad had to correct me. No, that's why I You're a wall of doom and insults. Forgot about that. Thank you.
So, by the way,
in the chat come up with very important sounding titles and descriptors for me, apparently. So
they do. I got a new one here too, Vish. You haven't seen this one.
These people subscribe to you?
Dang.
So, dang.
Brutal.
So, all right.
Okay.
Silly stuff out of the way. It's good to see you, Dan. thanks so much for coming on, and thanks for being here so early. I was that's awesome. You're muted.
He has muted himself.
You have
So
muted yourself.
okay.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, my schedule's been a mess recently, and there was a change to it suddenly, and I was like, oh, cool, I got some time. So,
oh, that's great.
So
that's
I am
awesome.
just trying to share this link widely, so more people
I see
check it out.
There's an Instagram broadcast there and YouTube, and are you broadcasting anywhere else, or is that
right now just YouTube and Instagram?
Okay. Do you do Facebook stuff?
I'm on Facebook. I haven't live streamed on Facebook for a long time. In fact, the last time I live streamed on Facebook was when I was standing on Philippapu Hill in Athens, and was like, hey, I was one of my morning runs. I was at the top of the hill. The sun was coming up. The Acropolis was getting lit up, and I was like, you know what? I want to share this with some folks. And yeah,
and Facebook was there for you. Nice.
Yeah, surprisingly enough. So
cool, awesome. All right. Well, we should maybe just jump right in, because I'm sure everybody's got some time constraints. So here we go. And I think we might as well. Yeah. Let's. Okay. Unless I don't know. We could. We had planned on. You know what? Yeah, let's just jump ahead to because
that was a lot of faffing about.
It was. It really
Shroud of
was.
Turin. 1, 2, 3, go.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the Shroud.
Okay.
What is it?
I used to be the biggest skeptic of the Shroud. So I did my PhD on the resurrection of Jesus, what they call a 93,000 word Überlieferungsgeschichte of resurrection. That's German for a history of resurrection belief in the Judeo-Christian motif.
That's what I call my PhD all the time.
Just...
It's when people ask, I'm like,
could he sound more pompous?
When I was my master's thesis at Oxford was anti-anthropomorphism and the Vorlage of LXX Exodus, which even the person who presented an award I won for my thesis was like, that's a mouthful, and everybody at Oxford was like, you don't need to say Vorlage. Like, when you use German to replace perfectly good English words, you just sound pompous. So knock it off.
He doesn't mind sounding pompous at all. Like, that's kind of his ish. I think.
George Orwell of blessed memory would reach through time and slap this dude. I highly recommend everybody read Politics in the English Language. It's one of my favorite essays he's ever written.
Nice.
Okay.
Race, belief in resurrection from the
hang on, can we pause one more time?
Hebrew.
Yeah.
Isn't his dissertation was on the Apocalypse of Peter, wasn't it?
Apocalypse of Peter. I was going to say Gospel.
Yeah, it was mainly about a specific manuscript of the
9th, 10th century manuscript.
Yeah, so
if I got it correct.
There was some discussion of the development of the resurrection tradition, but it was primarily about the Apocalypse of Peter.
In there.
Yeah. And it's been published. And the parts of it I've read, I have no issues with the scholarship that he presents in his dissertation and in the published version. But if you read his preface or introduction, you would get the impression that he got his PhD at a place he did not get his PhD from.
True, very true.
He was in Oxford, not at Oxford.
So,
and he's since published
academically
something. No, he's since published a trade volume, the 10 discoveries, because he was on social media.
Body of proof was before that. I think the 10 discoveries is his most recent one, right?
Yeah, and in there he does the same thing. He talks about where he didn't get his PhD, but then at the very end was like, I got it through Middlesex University, and kind of really briefly.
Yeah. So
I wonder if somebody told him, "Hey, you need to be explicit about not actually having gotten your PhD."
But it sounds cooler. It makes him have more clout.
It does. I mean, he has augmented this a little bit now. He says that he did his residency at Oxford.
Is that what he says? He says residency.
100%. If it's in one of the segments that we've covered, we'll point it out. But
okay,
he does say he did his residency at Oxford. Like that's something we,
yeah, like he was a doctor who was there at the hospital,
yes,
doing rounds.
At the Gospel Hospital.
Different kind of doctor. Yes.
Bible, through late Second Temple Judaism, through the intertestamental period, through the New Testament, and then where it finds its fullest expression in 2nd century Christianity. So I'm an expert in resurrection belief, okay? I'm already putting you to sleep just explaining that. But that's my academic pedigree. In that entire training, where at Keble College, I would attend Faculty of Theology. I defended my thesis to Professor William Telford, who began my viva. Everything's in Latin in Oxford. He began my viva by saying,
Point of order.
Stop.
They stopped doing everything in Latin at Oxford before I got there, and I got there before he got there. So
yeah, but you didn't do a PhD there, Dan.
I didn't do a PhD, but also he didn't do a PhD there. And the Viva was not an Oxford Viva. It was a Middlesex University Viva. So no, unless they were just like, hey, we want to do this different than we've always done it, just for the sheer pomposity of it. Yeah. So I'm going to say every other word in Latin. I find it phenomenally hard to believe that happened. This is
It
sounds
X to
totally
doubt.
made up.
Yeah, because even if you did do your DPhil through Oxford University and did your Viva at Oxford University, they would not have been talking in Latin, because the part that they used to do up until recently was matriculation. You go to the Sheldonian Theater in your sub fusk and your white bow tie and your mortarboard cap, and they pronounce the Latin and goes, and then you're matriculated, and doesn't it feel so good? And they stopped doing that a long time ago. Vivas are not in Latin.
Dr. Joel Carrico is in the chat. Maybe he can.
Hey, Joel.
Confirm whether there was Latin involved in his Oxford Viva, but yeah. It
would. I imagine they would have been using Septuagint Greek for Joel's Viva, but
lots of that.
But that's for him. No Latin in my Viva.
No Latin.
Before we start again, yes, in fact, I am in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Thank you for noticing.
She lives there.
Let me just get one thing straight. I've read your every other word he's saying is Latin. And
William
I'm not
Telford,
sure what he's saying, but he was complimenting it. But he said, I have to ask you one question. Do you actually believe the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus happened? And he paused and he said, or is that just imaginative storytelling? And I said, Professor Telford, thank you for the question. David Hume said, wise men choose probabilities. Without a doubt, I believe Jesus physically, bodily rose from the grave. I can't believe it. Otherwise, the evidence compels me to believe it. And he sat back. This is a Bible scholar. And he said, I don't see it that way. Let's start your Viva. And he later...
You believe it? A Bible scholar.
His whole demeanor and his positioning and everything, at any moment, he's going to go, welcome to my lair, Mr. Bond.
It's true. It's he's an unusual guy.
As you can see, I am an expert in, shall we say, classic torture methods and executions.
Well, I mean,
I look forward to showing you my expertise. This is the vibe.
You would have to kill someone, Sean. You would have to torture them. The hematological reports, you're getting me all excited now in this conversation. It gives me chills to this day because it does take your breath away.
It's He's an excitable
Not
guy.
helping the villain
And-
accusations.
No. No.
Okay, let's pick back up.
Sorry. Where were we?
All right.
Pass me with commendation. So in that entire history of being in Oxford 3 years, I was conditioned that the shroud was a Catholic relic with no scientific backing that was 700 years old based on a carbon-14 dating. It turns out, when you look at it, the Shroud of Turin is scientific proof of the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus Christ.
See,
And
I was right on board. I was tracking with him all the way through Catholic relic, no scientific evidence, all that stuff. I was like, yeah, that's sounds right to me, right? Known forgery. I mean, we have a confession from the
it's
confession. It's not a confession.
secondhand. It's secondhand. Yeah.
Yes,
But just like the Gospels. But
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I believe that based on the evidence in the 102 academic disciplines that have studied over 600,000 research hours in it, I believe that because I'm not irrational.
This is what we call big numbers, therefore God.
I'm very
the number of research hours is utterly irrelevant. It doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with it. But and he's juicing the numbers because, and I think in his book, I don't know where it went, but I think in his book he said it was only 500,000 research hours. So I don't know if
man, this is
something's changed.
But taking on legendary status, like the resurrection stories. Dude.
But like most of the experts in radiocarbon dating, in hematology, in microscopy, I don't know what that field is called technically, agree that it is a medieval relic rather than the actual. Is it in here? Yes, there it is.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
I can spotlight you.
Nice.
No, and so and I would have to look for it. Give me a minute to look at it, but yeah,
So
it's
while you're looking, I will say like 102 academic disciplines. I'm kind of interested in that list to see all those people who have
it's only 4 people, but they have specialization in 102 different academic disciplines. And even if he can't correctly pronounce the name of his very good friend who has mastered 50 of those academic disciplines.
Holy cow.
Because it's always going to be the same names coming up over and over again. Like whether it's a new kind of X-ray technology, or it's hematology, or it's radiocarbon dating, or it's whatever, it's the same 4 or 5 names that are the lead researchers on the paper.
But,
looking.
Are some of those are like I'm struggling to think of 102 individual disciplines, period. But it just,
I mean, we could go with special, like those special areas of focus and not broad categories.
He's probably just the very, very narrow bits, right? And how many of those are theological disciplines, like experts in soteriology and Christology agree on
right.
on the Shroud.
100% of the scholars who are theologically and professionally bound to believe it.
Yeah.
I need to add that. Oh, by the way, I've been had a meeting yesterday with SBL about my survey.
Nice.
So we're moving forward with that.
I was going to ask about that.
We're moving forward that, and I need to put a question about the Shroud on there. I definitely need to put a question about the Shroud on there.
I've heard that two very reputable scholars are big proponents of the Shroud.
This is what I was laughing at here. He meant they were academically disciplined.
Yes. that makes better sense to me.
Well, and in fact, he brings up Fry, this one scholar. He talks about him as if he were Jesus's little brother. He raves about how he's a criminologist when his stuff on the Shroud was widely panned by like his friends and colleagues and everybody in his profession. They were like, this is really bad stuff, man. So yeah, sometimes when they point their academic specializations at the Shroud, for whatever reason, their objectivity and their discipline goes out the window.
Even J. Warner Wallace was chafing.
Yeah, this is going out.
Yeah,
you'll actually be able to check the data.
Yes,
That's
it'll be much better.
Nonsense. Okay.
Excellent. Hey, is the speed up?
Yes.
So okay, good.
Joseph of Arimathea, who is a wealthy man, has a
we're going to
linen
get into
shroud
some
of
of the
fine linen.
specifics.
He had already purchased this for his own death planning. In fact, he said, better yet,
How do we know any of that?
Right.
I think it's probably because, you know, they look at a bunch of works of art and things like that and say, like the Praise Codex, and they say that's the Shroud. They were exactly replicating the Shroud. And maybe if you trace back the history of art, somebody has Joseph of Arimathea being like, take my Shroud. And it must be true.
Okay. Sure.
we'll use my family tomb. So they wrap, a lot of this was just expediency because according to Jewish burial traditions, which I'm an expert in, you had to bury on the day of death before nightfall. This is Shabbat and this is Passover. That's
sorry, the barrel traditions. Going to be getting me the whole
barrel
stream.
traditions.
Guy, please. It's important.
You know, I get the feeling that Jeremiah has read a book or two by Jody Magnus, and has decided that he now, I mean, I haven't seen anything that he's published in Jewish burial traditions or novel work that he's done.
I mean, you become an expert just through osmosis by being
inside
the grounds of Oxford University. So,
or that too.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, I
is that
found
all it took?
on page 18 of his book, serious scholars across more than 100 disciplines have spent more than 500,000 hours studying the Shroud. Now, I don't know if he's including the serious scholars who have concluded after all of that study that the Shroud is a medieval forgery. But yeah, so it went from more than 500,000 in his book to 600,000 in the interview. So in the intervening, I think the interview actually came out right around the time the book was published. So, you know, I don't know we can get 100,000 more hours that quickly, but
well, Dan, as you well know, with Jesus all things are possible.
so jot that down, right?
Jot that down.
Trixie
Purple, I'm an expert in all of them because I took Kip Secret class. Yeah,
I'm that good, guys.
You are that good.
how we can date. We can talk about how we can date the crucifixion. We know the exact date of it. We know Jesus is crucified. It's the best established fact of the ancient world on April 3rd, AD 33. Sean,
that is the most asinine statement ever. But it's going to get worse because he's going to he'll say next, if we can't know. Play the part where he says, if we can't know that Jesus died by crucifixion.
If we cannot believe that Jesus was crucified under Roman crucifixion based on the sources and evidence, we shouldn't believe that Caesar crossed the Rubicon in 40.
That is absolutely preposterous.
Yes, and I've called him out in videos before on precisely this, his claim that it's the best established fact of the ancient world. That is pure and
utter nonsense. Hang on, let me.
It is.
There it is.
Go ahead.
you
oh, good. Yeah, you put it on a shirt. Nice.
Yeah. That is just laughably stupid. There's no serious historian on the planet who would say that, because and he'll talk about, look, we have no fewer than 9 independent sources. And it's like, okay, well, we have the bodies of many figures from the ancient world. We have their texts that they wrote. We have texts written by their contemporaries and their personal historians and their soldiers. And we have coins with their faces on them where you can see them getting fatter as they get older on the coins. Like, we have
amazing
so much stuff for so many figures from the ancient world. The notion that these texts written decades after Jesus's death that contradict each other in a bunch of places is the best established fact of the ancient world is nonsense.
Or even first-hand accounts.
No.
Even from a guy who was supposedly there. He's ripping off some other guy's account of his own meaning. Like, who needs to do that? Okay.
So
let's proceed. Unless you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I'm interested to hear, and I'm interested to hear Dan weigh in on this, because he spends a lot more time with this kind of stuff than I do. But like, even in terms of whether or not Jesus was actually crucified during a Passover festival, I kind of feel like it. Like, how well do we know even that? Like, that feature of the story, how confident are we in that? But just I'm putting that out there. There's just an awful lot that you can apparently say on the Sean Ryan show if you say it confidently.
I figured it out. Kip.
Oh yeah.
If Glenn Beck was covered in bronzer and was a Centauri from Babylon 5.
God, yes. You did it, Vish. Way to go. Yeah. Wow. So
Centauri bronzed Glenn Beck.
I don't know if you caught how much of that you caught, Dan.
Sorry, I did. My wife had a question. I did not catch what you were saying.
Okay. Even this, because I don't know nearly as much in the area of the Gospels as you do, but you're peeking a fair bit on your mic, by the way. Forget isolating a specific date. How confident are we even that Jesus was executed during a Passover festival?
I mean, it's pretty widely accepted, but I think there is room for a little bit of doubt, because like he talks about April 3rd, but there are a lot of scholars who are like, okay, if it's April 3rd, that means you're prioritizing John's pre-Passover crucifixion account over and against the Synoptics post-Passover crucifixion account, because April 3rd would have been Nisan 14 rather than 15. And and it also presupposes that they couldn't have celebrated Passover prior to the vernal equinox, which there are scholars out there who say that in the 1st century CE, we don't have any indication that would have been unacceptable. So I mean, and a lot of it relies on taking seriously Luke's statement that what was it? John the Baptist started preaching in the 15th year of Tiberius, and things like that. So they whittle it down generally to somewhere between 29 and 36 CE, and then say it's got to be either 30 or 33, and whether or not it happened on a Passover. I mean, I think it makes sense, because it seems to me most likely, if we just whittle this down to what we can say most likely happened, is he probably started some kind of disturbance in the temple during Passover, and Rome wasn't having it. And so...
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. So...
Speaking of Passover, it ended last night. So...
It did.
It has passed over.
It has passed.
Yeast did things again. Woo! And I've got a donut sitting on my plate right now.
Listen, yeast is pretty great.
Can you just put it all on the back porch, or does it have to be gone?
Okay, so normally you try to like eat through what you can, and then if this isn't happening, you could give it away, but usually what people will do is they'll put it in like a cabinet or something and kind of like lock it away for a week, and then on a piece of paper they will authorize their synagogue or rabbi to sell it to a local like Gentile friend, and legally sell it to them for a week, so it's actually not technically yours.
So it's on your property, but it is not your property.
It's technically not your property. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For those 7 days, and then they buy it back.
I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. For me, there was
no
way I was going to be eating through 3 boxes of Ritz crackers in the time span that I had. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put these in my Pop-Tarts. And
I have not yet been.
Tacos.
I've not yet been given that high honor of being asked to symbolically purchase the yeasted products.
I'll write you down on my list for next year. You can symbolically, technically, legally purchase the Ritz crackers and Pop-Tarts that I have in my pantry.
All right, will do. It's a date.
It should go on your Vish list.
Yes. Okay.
39 BC. Jesus' death and resurrection is the best evidential fact established from late antiquity. And the evidence.
It's not. And I have. Okay. Thank you.
It's a good
That's
one.
all I had to do.
It bears that out. So this is what happens. Early Sunday morning, the women are coming to the tomb. We know from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Again, this is April 5th. So the women are going there. We know according to the Jet Propulsion Lab.
I have a business card for someone who works at the JPL pinned on my little bulletin board right behind this monitor.
Oh,
I am going to reach out to them and be like, hey, did y'all verify this? I suspect
the women were at the
have
tomb.
No idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Just a hunch, but I'm going to put that on my to-do list.
I imagine that's
sunrise
in the book,
on that Easter Sunday would have been a crisp morning in Jerusalem. The women are hurrying to the tomb. Why? For Jewish burial traditions, Jesus was buried with such haste. He dies at 3, sundown 6 p.m. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus only have 3 hours to get his body off the cross, to get it buried, and to get it in the tomb. So they did not have time to complete the bodily washing. That's why the women are going to the tomb Sunday morning. Sunrise is at 5:43 in the morning, according to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory on Sunday morning, April 5th, 8033. They're going there very, very early. They're shocked because the tomb, which would have weighed 2,750 pounds, the stone cover, rich tomb covers are like that. They're hard to move.
How do we know how much it weighed? Is he taking for granted
they were all made at the same
factory.
tomb seal factory there in Jerusalem, right?
How silly of me to forget that.
They may be interested to discover that they do when Vish reaches out.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to have some questions for them, and I
think he's just trying to trying to determine the exact time of sunrise, and so is just saying this is the authority that I went to look this up.
And they also didn't have stopwatches.
But it
use that for timekeeping.
But it does feel like an attempt to kind of appeal to authority for something as banal as the time that the sun came up, which really just serves the point of saying they were there early. Shivers.
I mean,
it turns out they were there early in the morning. So
doesn't the text say that like once the Sabbath was over is when he resurrected, and when the daylight broke, he was already gone when they got there. So it wasn't like, oh, at dawn he, supposedly resurrected. It's like, oh, well,
he is still talking about the women. Yeah. He is still talking about the women going there. But that's to your point, Dan. Yeah, it's just like nobody's surprised that the sun came up in the morning as it does every day. At roughly the same time every day.
But the Jet Propulsion Laboratory now is undergirding the story. So
that's it.
We have no less of an authority than the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Exactly.
Maybe. Okay, here's just my wild speculation. Maybe they were using Jack Parsons level methodology to arrive at all of this information because, hey, he was into the occult. Maybe he had some kind of way to discern this that, modern science just wouldn't be able to figure out. You never know.
Yeah.
The women of this day would have been 4'11", 90 pounds. Remember, they're worried, Sean, who will move the...
Now he's saying how tall they are and what their weight is. Where is he getting this?
They're too little to move the stone, Vish. This is the point. Like it's it's not enough that the story, it just, it's you've got to put some color into it to help people along. So
stone away for us. He's married. Jesus, it's kind of shocking. He's buried in a rich man's tomb, a new tomb. This was Arimathea's tomb, Joseph's. They get there, the tomb cover has been blasted away. And I think that's part of what happened. I think the energy is
blasted.
Well, we skipped that part. I intentionally skipped that part because it's fucking ridiculous. But he's got this idea, right, that there was a nuclear event. And he's talked to like a nuclear physicist or a mathematician or somebody where the body was basically turned into the sun in the tomb, and it blew the cover off.
And does he talk about the fact that the gospel accounts have the women witnessing an angel rolling the stone away from the tomb and then sitting on top of the stone?
Yeah, there's that one. But it's all he's very clearly privileging, he likes to talk a lot about how he doesn't privilege the text, which is laughable. But he sure does. He sure has picked what he thinks is
Matthew.
I'm sorry. Hadouken.
Matthew 28:2. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. The guard shook, became like dead, but the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised." So according to Matthew, who's supposed to be an eyewitness, the thing was still on the tomb after Jesus was raised, and they witnessed an angel rolling it away.
Angels are okay, you know what? This proves that the seraphim language is real, because remember, in many tenses, it does produce ionizing radiation.
Oh, good call. Man.
Yeah.
And the nuclear claim is just based on these scholars who claim that the only way that lasers or some kind of radiation is the only way to actually degrade or scorch the cellulose the way the image appears. And so it would have to be a certain degree of intensity, but when you get to that degree of intensity, it just destroys the thing. So then you have to alter the time that the radiation is on the shroud, which is why he's going to be like, it's got to be 1/60th of a billion of a second of this degree of intense radiation, where they're just playing with the numbers until the science will say, that would create this kind of superficial cellulose degradation on this linen. And so that obviously is the nuclear event.
I guess there is a fourth spatial dimension that isn't space-time, because they are twisting themselves in pretzels that extend into that dimension to make this work.
Indeed.
Joel just
nuclear
texted me
event.
to tell me that he just can't take it and he's checking out. So,
he's like, I'm out.
That brought Jesus's physical body back to life, just blew the tomb door wide open. And so Jesus emanates. I want to make this very clear, because I had to understand this.
This is good.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm trying to understand. Does he raise from the dead and then, like Lazarus, have to take off his grave clothes? Like what? No, his body literally emanates through the shroud. So the shroud, we've actually created this in AI. The shroud would have just kind of.
Oh, you used AI.
My favorite
Must
part.
Be real.
They created it in AI. Like that's I think that's part of the 102 disciplines personally.
Was
the
when someone
AI
says, I asked AI,
recreation.
man, shut up. Seriously.
Oh boy.
Collapsed. He would have looked down and seen the shroud, walked right out of the tomb, and he starts with all what we call the appearance tradition. This is the eyewitness.
In John, it says that
Why are
it's
you
folded
looking
up.
for him?
isn't it? Did he fold up the
face,
the
face one.
okay.
Which I think he argues the Sudarion is that face cloth, because there's a chapter in his book, the Sudarium of Oviedo. So I think he thinks that is the cloth. And if I recall, in John the word is Sudarion.
But that's a difference between the different the different gospel accounts too, right? Like in Mark, it is a single linen sheet, and in John, it's strips of linen, right? I'm fairly sure.
I don't know if it describes the sheet. Let me take a look.
It's a sindone in
that's what it is.
Mark, right? And in John,
did Jesus have atomic breath like Godzilla?
Yeah.
Good. I've been watching a lot of Monarch season 2 this week, so.
Okay, yeah, it says verse 7 says the with the
20, right?
Othonion, yes, 20 verse 7. The Othonion, which would be the linen cloth.
Yeah.
Or is it but it's plural.
It's plural.
Yeah. Let me just verify that.
Cheetah X in the chat writes, wait, I have it now. The nuclear blast also made the linen date to around 1300. It all makes sense.
God damn, that'd be so much easier for them. Wouldn't it?
Right.
Oh, I have to say, I saw maybe you're familiar with this. I'm not. I don't spend a lot of time with this Shroudy bullshit. But I found a guy last week. This got me down a bit of a rabbit hole. But I found a guy last week who's done a Shroud recreation with glass panes and paint, which is and just leaving the linen out in the sun under glass that he's painted on, and recreated some pretty compelling images. Just doing this. So cool. It's very, very cool. Very cool.
Appearance tradition. So we have empty tomb tradition for Easter, and we have appearance tradition. We have two lines of witness of the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus. Of course, he appears to the women first. And Sean, this is what I write about in my book.
I think
if you and I
think one of the things he's doing here, it sort of seems to me, is he is maximize. This is one of the ways, right, to maximize your independent sources by now dividing between appearance traditions and what did he say? Appearance traditions, and what was the other one?
Empty tomb.
Empty tomb traditions. Like these are separate things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I saved this.
Wanted to invent a religion. If we wanted to write the resurrection story, the Gospels, we never would have written it the way it's written, because everything about it is humiliating and embarrassing.
Maybe if you're a misogynist. Ridiculous.
I wonder if he's laughing like that because he knows how stupid that line of reasoning is.
Like, no one would ever take a woman seriously.
But this is
it's exhausting.
It is.
Want me to keep going?
Yeah, for a little bit. I think he's something.
I actually give a paper if the gospel writers invented the story of Jesus, one that would have been culturally acceptable, they did a terrible job. So Jesus appears to women because remember, Jesus will rehumanize people. This is the beauty of the gospel. Everybody watching that right now, whatever you're going through, Jesus will rehumanize you. The scriptures say that we've been ransomed.
Either.
I don't either, and it sure didn't take, because women didn't have any kind of privileged position or even equal position in Western society for thousands of years. Slavery wasn't abolished widely for another 1,000, almost 2,000 years.
But remember, Paul planted those secret seeds of abolitionism, and it took until you had some Congregationalists and some Quakers and good old Gregory of Nyssa. He was the one that early crocus that popped up, and then the others took another more than 1,000 years to get there.
I knew
But
I
I-
wore
but-
a John Brown hat today.
He's the argument here that this couldn't be made up is asinine, because if everybody was expecting Jesus to call down the fury and end the Roman Empire's oppression of the Jewish people, and then he got executed, and then traditions started circulating about his tomb being empty. I mean, if it was women who first started circulating this rumor, this tradition, then it makes perfect sense that our earliest reference to this tradition would have the women involved. Like, it's not because the apologetic argument always imagines that this strict dichotomy. It either happened exactly as the texts say it happened, or a bunch of malicious people got together in a room and cooked it all up from complete
Whilst
and total scratch,
twirling their mustaches.
Yes.
Yes.
While conniving to make this all up, and entirely ignore that it can be a combination of a lot of different things, including people who sincerely believe this stuff happened, and then later people building on that. They accept the tradition and then they build on it, whether intentional or otherwise. And they never address those accounts for how this got to be the way it is. It's impossible that they made this up, because that would have been dumb. And it's like, well, what if they were dealing with an actual dead savior and then traditions that began to circulate?
I like this idea of money's also made up. Money's not false. Like, all language is made up. All words are made up.
All
What does
nations
that
are
say
made
about-
up.
All nations are made up. That doesn't make it false.
But
I
this,
hate
this
this.
too is just I feel like this is sort of in line with a lot of conventional, especially conservative evangelical thinking, because it does presume that there's like an organized control structure over the circulation of these narratives very, very early, to the point where there's some there would be some suppression early on if this was indeed not totally accurate or true. It's not a realistic view of even just human behavior and human communication. Even that's just not how rumors and stories work. It's
And this is how the argument for the resurrection has become. Like, this is the vehicle for so many arguments for the resurrection. Nobody dies for a lie.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if they had a dream and woke up and were like, I met the resurrected Jesus, and started telling that story and truly believed it? That's not a lie. That doesn't mean it actually happened, but it's not a lie. I mean, there are bereavement visions that could have happened. They could have seen somebody across the street and been like, was that Jesus? I think that was Jesus. And then suddenly, guess who saw Jesus? I mean, there are all kinds of channels for these stories to develop that they all just got together in a room and said, we need to lie about this, is such an idiotic caricature of the critical interrogation of the historicity of these stories.
That's the thing, is there is a very stark difference between false, as in did not happen, is not historical, can't be verified, and lie, which is intentional deceit. Those are not the same.
Yeah.
I think too, like there's this sense too, right, that it's such it had to have been a real event because it had such a profound impact on these people. But like I had a dream when I was like 10 or 11 years old that I remember to this day, because of how vivid and scary it was. It might be the only thing I remember from being 10 or 11 years old. It was that impactful. And that was a dream. Like, I think sometimes those things that happen inside of our brains can create stronger impacts than stuff that
Can I play the clip,
happens in real life.
Kip?
Yeah. Whichever one that is.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
I'm reminded of
now it's very weird.
I'm reminded of the Bob's Burgers episode where there's a pigeon flies into the restaurant, and Bob is terrified of pigeons, and he's like, when I was a little kid, I went into a room in the house and there was an opening in the roof and there was a bird there, and then there were a bunch of birds, and it's this traumatic event from his childhood that left him scarred for life, and he has a phobia of birds. And then they're like, that wasn't you, that was Tippi Hedren in the movie Birds. And then they watched the movie and he was like, okay, I can see where I could have gotten confused here. And like and there we have all kinds of false memories and things like that we would swear up and down this happened, and it happens every time my whole family and I get together. We start telling stories about our childhood, and my brother or my dad will be like, that was me, that wasn't you, or something like that. Like that kind of stuff happens all the time. So yeah, I am constantly. This argument is laughably thin and fragile.
Yeah.
It says we were bought at a price, and oh, what a price it was, the blood of Jesus. It says we've been redeemed. It says we were bought. These are all financial terms. I don't know if you remember, Sean, the last word of Jesus on the cross. In his
oh Lord, here we go.
I published a video on this today.
Oh, did you?
Aramaic tongue.
Wait, go back.
Aramaic?
We got to get the whole claim. I got to hear the whole claim.
Back.
Okay.
We hear it in his native Aramaic tongue, tetelestai. That's
Greek.
Well, yeah, it's Greek. Now, if you look in Matthew and Mark, yes, you have the Eloi, or Eli, lama sabachthani. So sabachthani would be the last word that he spoke, presented in Matthew and Mark as Aramaic. This is John 19, verse 30. Tetelestai is freaking Greek. It's not even Aramaic, but he's like, he has that kind of like, the word comes to us in the original Aramaic tongue, tetelestai, and he's as if he is just pronouncing upon this groveling pupil these facts, and it's so laughably. And he tells, when he hands Codex Vaticanus, the facsimile, to Sean, and Sean's like, can you read this? And he's like, oh, yeah, of course I can. Yeah. It's like, well, you mistook tetelestai for Aramaic. So but it's gonna get even better.
Okay, and by that you mean worse.
Yep.
Financial term, always paid in full. I might have skipped it.
Oh God,
no. That you got there. He basically says, and it's a financial term. It means paid and full, and that means that Jesus, and it goes off on how with Jesus's blood we all are all redeemed and everything like that. This is like a century-old bit of apologetic misinformation, and Josh Howerton has spread this misinformation far and wide as well. But it is based on a misunderstanding of an abbreviation that occurred on hundreds of Greek papyri from Egypt that were receipts, where you have tetel as an abbreviation on the receipts. And because tetelestai, and this is a perfect tense verb, teleo is the verbal root. It can mean to pay, to fulfill an obligation, to complete something, to finish, to pay. They were like, oh, it must be the perfect tense. It must be tetelestai, and it's not, because some of those receipts don't abbreviate the word, and it's tetelonite, which means taxes paid.
God.
And so and like that's like 100 years we've known better. We've been like, oh, we got that wrong. We know better now. But apologists still spread this as if this is a financial term. It means paid in full. No, it doesn't. That's simply false. So he's and this is one of my concerns with Wes, with this guy, with everybody who has a degree or even an ABD status to wave around, is they will pronounce things based on that they're very clearly not even getting from scholarship. They are just getting exposed to apologetic claims on the internet or in ridiculous books, and they're just being like, makes sense to me, and I'm an expert, and I just have this intuition about when things are right or wrong, and so they share it, having never even bothered to verify it, and it's just laughably untrue.
Yep. All right, let's hear and talk about torture.
This
so influenced by medieval Christian art, unfortunately. The effeminate Jesus, the meek Jesus, the weak Jesus, the Jesus.
Yeah, we all know Jesus was absolutely yoked.
I'm pretty sure he even says he was a man's man.
Yeah, he was a huge asshole.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So no beard. He's not a Jew.
He took the creatine every day. He was slamming protein.
Yeah.
He could bench like 400 pounds.
Looks maxin.
Jesus.
Looks
we don't
maxin'
realize how
Jesus.
influenced we are by medieval Christian art.
Totally mocked death.
This guy just said
waxing.
This guy just said we don't even realize how influenced we are by medieval Christian art.
While he's holding
He
this.
said with no self-awareness whatsoever.
Yes.
You know that Pantera cover where the guy's just getting his face punched?
Oh.
Vulgar display of power. That's what it feels like when they say things like this. It's just like,
Jesus was a man's man. He traveled over 20,000 miles in his ministry, probably weighed 180 pounds.
How do you know
20,000 miles?
Do you have his step counter?
But that's even like, like so east to west, the region is less than 100 miles across.
Yeah.
North to south, it's what, like 250, maybe. I'm guessing here, but like it just. Was he walking in a grid pattern? Like,
well, I don't drive 20,000 miles in a single year, which is what the synoptics present his ministry as lasting. And the evangelical triangle, the three main cities between which he spent like 90% of his ministry, are all within a handful of miles of each other. Like 20,000 miles, where did that number come from? No doubt the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Right. I'm compiling a mental list here. It's like, do you know what time the sun came up? How many miles did Jesus walk? What specific Western Gregorian calendar date was it? Like, I'm just going to send them all of these questions and wait.
It's very good.
By the way, if you want to...
Yes, thank you. The circumference of the Earth is approximately 4,000 miles. So he just walked around the Earth.
Yeah, this is an interesting book, The Crown of Thorns, Humble Gods and Humiliated Kings, which is mostly it is about the Crown of Thorns in Christian artistic tradition. So I would recommend this book if you want a good discussion of that, because there is a lot of interesting stuff about how our understanding of what this Crown of Thorns was, that is really secondary to artistic tradition. And the helmet here, the torture helmet, the Orwellian kind of what is it? Do it to Julie. That was the love interest name in 1984, right? Was it Julie?
Sure.
I forget who it was. I forget who it was. But yeah, that helmet there would have nothing to do with what a bunch of first century Roman soldiers were trying to put together.
Like, I think
I'm dumb. I have it on my shelf.
I think because I looked at
it is
this,
Julia.
Like it's
Julia. Julia. Oh, I got it. Do it to Julia. That's what they needed him to say with the little face-eating rat mask.
Yeah, with the
Pounds, physically fit man, 5'10" to 6.
Wait, I know. He walked across the Atlantic to the New World. That accounts for it.
Wait a minute. Did he just say Jesus was a physically fit man between 5'10" and 6 foot?
Yes. Let me rewind this.
Well, I get.
Okay, here we go.
We don't realize how influenced we are by medieval Christian art. Jesus was a man's man. He traveled over 20,000 miles in his ministry. He probably weighed 180 pounds, physically fit man, 5'10" to 6 feet. In medieval Christian art, I don't know if you've seen this.
Hung like a horse, just the sweatiest hog under that loincloth, just keeps me up at night.
Chiseled jawline, ripped abs. He had a 12-pack, one for every disciple.
Before, but we see this crown of thorns and it's like a wreath. It's like a sweatband, something you'd wear working out, and we think, oh, that's cute. No,
there's a reason for that. Right. I mean, there's a reason for that. A relatively good reason for that, because like the word in the Gospels, and I checked, and in every single Gospel, it's Stephanos, which is like the crown, the aureole, the wreath, right?
Well, yeah, the little diadem thing, that you get if you are victorious in battle or at the Olympics or something like that.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be mocking his royalty.
Yes. There is and this is where I think he's playing fast and loose, or he just doesn't understand how to read his Cambridge. Well, let's be honest, he's not using the Cambridge lexicon. He doesn't know how to read his like outdated version of BDB, not even the updated one. But I expect he's probably thinking of stuff. Is it Stephane? That's helmet. Yeah, Stephane is helmet. Stephanos, which is the word that appears in the Gospels, is like wreath.
Yeah.
In circles, garland or leaves worn on festive or religious occasions. Garland of gold, diadem of gold, crown. It's not the fucking helmet from the Briar Path. It's like
so here's a paragraph out of this book. If the Roman soldiers who mocked Jesus knew anything about him and the apparent purpose of a Messiah figure, they would have undoubtedly connected Jesus's messiahship to the deeds performed by generals who received the corona graminea. This action by the soldiers then more realistically could be seen as a brutal parody of a failed general, in which they bestowed upon the beaten Jesus the most prestigious and honorable military crown in mock ceremony. And so, yeah, it would have been the wreath. So,
yeah.
And okay, so I want to see how he's making the case that this monstrosity is what they would have done.
Mr. Bond, it took me months to fashion this crown of thorns.
And why is it that the new hot apologists all spend so much of their time in arts and crafts?
Listen, it's the end of the world. Everybody needs a little craft.
Yeah, it's always
Everyone
like,
needs
here,
a little
I brought you a bunch of replicas that I spent all my time making.
I made it myself. Like, cool.
Romans wanted to humiliate Jesus. Not only is he crucified completely naked, but the scriptures tell us that they fashioned a crown of thorns. And this is a crown. This is a helmet. This is truly a dome, a cap of thorns. And this is what puts it beyond all doubt. I'm an expert in Roman crucifixion. We have one exemplar of all the crucifixion examples that we have from antiquity. We have only one exemplar of someone that was crucified with a crown of thorns, and that's Jesus.
How many people have you crucified, Jeremiah?
But importantly, right, the one exemplar we have of a crucified victim wearing a crown of thorns is from a secondhand story.
Yeah,
like there's no, the data on this is sparse.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
There's the impression through a lot of the confidence and the rhetoric in a presentation like this that he's speaking about. If you don't know any better, it sounds like we have like cadavers to examine.
Well, that's the thing. If the Shroud of Turin is real, then you have the body to examine, and I imagine that's what a lot of this is based on.
I think
that they're counting the blood that is not blood that is trickling through somebody's hair. It's blood that's been dropped on a shroud. But he was crucified naked. I don't know. What's that?
I guess you expect that to be really smeary, wouldn't you? If it's all
Yeah.
matted
Oh,
and
there have
smeared
been
like-
there have been studies that have shown this is not blood that was on somebody's body that was then transferred to a shroud that was laid on the body. That's been demonstrated a variety of different ways.
Wow.
Jesus of Nazareth. These are 3-inch Bethlehem thorns, Sean. They're
Can you talk about that? Is there such a thing as Bethlehem thorns?
Yeah.
Like,
didn't Simone bring this up last week?
Simone raised the question last week when we looked at the clip. But I asked her about that today too in the Discord. What did she say?
Yep.
Because this sounds to me like a name that we use now based on our association of some
With
kind of
this
plant
event.
with this. Yeah.
Right.
Like this reminds me of a guy who was like, dude, what kind of wood was the ark made out of? Gopher wood. There's only one place in all the world that has gopher wood naturally growing. It's in Florida. It's like, well, that's because they named it after the gopher wood from the Bible in the 1800s. You clown. And this guy was actually trying to argue that the Garden of Eden was straddled the border between Florida and Georgia. The
That's new.
The Chattahoochee River was one of the four or rivers
way
coming
down
out of
yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
The other thing about this too, right? With the Bethlehem thorns, like he's already pointed out. He's taken he's gone to the trouble to point out for us that this is a singular instance in all of literature and history. This is it. We have this one instance of a crown of thorns. You read the story, there's no point in the story where the soldiers take a trip to Bethlehem to go and pick some briars to bring back to the arena in order to weave their crown of thorns together to put, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, he's making it sound like there's like this is on hand. And I'm
also, anybody that's familiar with even rudimentary anatomy knows how vascular the head is. You don't have to do a lot to get it to just start streaming blood. And that freaks a lot of people out when they have even minor head injuries, is because just bleed. Yeah. So you don't have to have 6-inch thorns or whatever. I did want to spotlight this. Thomas O'Connell. Scattered, smothered, covered, chunk cap.
I had some on Instagram. Somebody commented, "Does that guy run a bar?" But somebody else, Ric Flair.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Somebody else said
win me over with wrestling.
Somebody said
sharp because when they dry, they're sharp.
Every Jerusalem rose has its thorn, or every Bethlehem rose has its thorn.
Every Bethlehem rose.
Good. Just like even Florida has the 4 rivers of Ghanaian. Every Bethlehem rose has its thorn. This is great.
Sharp as nails. This is a replica which matches because we have 30 to 50 puncture wounds on the head and the scalp of the crucified man. I often joke with people, try it on, see if it works.
And yet there are like 5 places where there's any blood at all on the shroud on Jesus's head, and it's just a little bit of blood. Like my daughter got a head injury a few weeks ago and thought she was dying because of how much blood was all over the side of her face from a little puncture on her forehead. And with Jesus, it's like a little rivulet here and a couple over here. And it's like, okay, well, you've got all these puncture wounds that didn't bleed, and you just said they didn't have time to clean them off at all. So problematic.
Well, his blood's
Proud of
magic.
him.
So there.
This is what was thrust on Jesus' head. I want to make sure and remind you, Sean, of the chronology. Jesus is first flogged. He's beaten. I have the flagrum here. I'll show you 700 times. Then they put the crown of thorns on his head. Pontius Pilate stands up next to Jesus. Remember, his wife warned him in a dream, have nothing to do with this man. And yet Pilate says, "Ecce homo," in Latin, behold a man. And the crowd, full of Jews, began to...
You should listen to women more.
Isn't it ecce homo? Not echo homo?
Let's rewind the tape.
Ecce homo, in Latin, behold, wife warned him in a dream, have nothing to do with this man. And yet Pilate says, "Ecce homo," in Latin, behold the man.
Yeah, it's ecce homo. Behold the man.
Oh, his Latin is about as good as mine, is what you're saying.
Well, if he was able to attend his own viva where every other word was in Latin,
he did say he didn't understand a lot of it. So
yeah.
Okay.
Crowd, full of Jews, began to yell, "Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!" They want him dead. Keep in mind, they had just seen Lazarus raised from the dead.
They had just seen it. Okay.
Not sure what that has to do with. I mean, even within, like, what is the point that he's trying to make within?
Well, there's a thin shellacking of anti-Semitism.
There certainly is
on a lot of
not
what.
super thin.
Where was Lazarus raised?
How many
it was in Bethany.
knew Lazarus? Also,
yeah,
it's a little ways away.
Eleazar was a very common name. So, but then again, haven't we, Kip, established that, people coming back from the dead was like a one in a million chance? So there were hundreds of people that had been raised from the dead, and you could just throw people in a prophet's grave and they would come back to life. So this wasn't, a shocking thing.
Not that big a deal, honestly. So, but it, just making that, because he's talking about the like he seems to want to be making the point about the both the brutality and the reality of the crucifixion event, and then blurts out that they had seen Lazarus raised just recently. I don't understand. It almost sounds like he's just stringing stuff together and throwing it at the wall to sort of see what's it. Yeah. So
vibes-based theology.
Lance, pain. I want to get your impression of it.
He knows pain.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You know how much force that
he's
pain and
he's
I
a man
are
of
friends.
Violence. Yeah. So it's so gross.
you would have to do just to get that around your head. I mean,
seems implausible.
Do it, coward.
Because this is Easter weekend. I've just acquired this.
I'm sure
Sean,
legally
is an
through
actual
all the
crucifixion
right
nail
channels.
from the 1st century.
I want to know how they know it was a
Stealing
crucifixion nail.
antiquities?
So this is something. Listen, this is something that I am actually keenly interested in, and I've watched this section a few times, and I've dug around a little bit, into, like you mentioned, Scott Stripling, and I dug around a little bit into what Scott Stripling's been doing lately, and I got to tell you, here's the thing: there's not a lot of physical evidence out there for.
No, and the only time you can definitively say this is a crucifixion nail is when it's embedded in somebody's calcaneus.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of those, and then you've got Caiaphas's tomb where they discovered a handful of nails, and people are like, okay, well, these nails could have been used to seal the ossuary. These nails could have been used to scratch the name into the side of the ossuary. We can't say for sure that these were crucifixion nails. So and every time we discover crucifixion data, like, it's a big deal. So I want to know how he thinks he knows this is a nail that was used for crucifixion.
So,
and if it was, how did he remove it from the country of origin without breaking a million laws?
Oh, he doesn't care about that. But he just so people are tracking with this, this idea of crucifixion nails being like in Caiaphas's tomb, the reason the nails are identified as crucifixion nails is because there is this, is it Mishnaic or is it Talmud Bavli? There is a tradition about the apotropaic power of crucifixion nails. There is a ritual connection, like 500 years later. So I don't know, like this is all stuff like I am keenly interested in this kind of stuff because I am in the moment. I'm kind of on this examination. I'm looking for the information that we have about connecting, crucifixion to Judea and what it actually looked like and how prevalent and standardized all of it was. And as far as I can tell, the sources we have for this are actually pretty sparse. So but he's got this nail. So
yep, but he's got the nail. Let's listen to him rave about it.
That was used to execute criminals of Rome. And when you hold it, I want you to do what I've done. I want you to put it at your wrist. These spikes are interesting because they were so valuable to the Romans. They were often reused. It'd be like if you could reuse bullets to kill someone, they would reuse these again and again, far more valuable than the criminals they executed. As you're holding that, I want you to notice that it has a square shaft. So without a doubt, that's first century. This was unearthed in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the Syrian province of Rome.
He got that from Israel, huh? Did the IAA clear that? I have questions.
Yeah.
Because friendly reminder, you can't just take random artifacts out of the country where you discovered them. That's not a thing that you can do. So
he bought it.
He's bragging about it on yeah.
He bought it at a gift shop right there by the Jaffa Gate. And the guy told him.
There you go. Okay. Yes.
Crucifixion nail. And he told him, you can tell it's first century because it's square. Yeah, and that's. I
wonder. Wonder if they should call their marks the fake antiquities folks. They should call their marks Helenas. Because that's where we got all the traditions about where everything is.
Yep. Agreed.
We have 21 different evidences of individuals being nailed to the cross. The top of the nail would have been square at one time, but it's been hammered so much into its victims, it's almost been circularized. I want you to put it against your wrist and just imagine. And I want you to let some scripture wash over you. Think about the Messianic Psalm 22, verse 16. They pierced my nails and my feet. David sees that prophetically.
Okay, so can we stop it? He said they pierced my nails and my feet. So already he's kind of tripping over his words, but also it doesn't say that. Like the word, even if you have to say, okay, we're going to take out the aleph, we're going to change the yod to a vav in line with a fragment from the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're going to say that's the verbal root kara. That just means to dig out. Mm-hmm. It never refers to piercing a surface with another instrument. It refers to removing material with the focus on the space that is left or the material that has been removed. And you don't say that you karad the surface. You say you dug out something. And so there is no plausible case to make that even once you get past the aleph and the yod and all that, and you conclude it is kara, that does not mean pierced my hands and my feet. It just doesn't mean that. And so,
yeah.
But his expertise is on absolutely everything other than biblical Hebrew, no doubt. So
yeah, I've said this so many times. I know that people are probably sick of hearing it, but even if you use the spelling that's in the Dead Sea Scrolls to try to make a word, it's the equivalent of a key smash. It's gibberish. It doesn't make a word with the vav there. So what are you doing?
I'm just not even confident that what we have represented in the Nachal Hever Psalm scroll where there's a question of whether it's a Yod or a Vav. I'm just not even sure that's a Vav there on the end. And I've looked at that fairly closely. I've done some recent stuff with it, and it just, you know, within that manuscript and that particular fragment's badly damaged, and it's there's a lot going on in that space there, which suggests to me, as a paleographer, like it's very, very plausibly just ka'ari, like a lion.
Yeah. I think the text is corrupt.
Of the psalm is discussing dogs and lions.
Yeah,
like
I think that it's corrupt.
Like
we've lost something.
Happened to it. Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think the writer accidentally a word.
Yeah, something like that.
Of course, this is before crucifixion was even invented. I love Passion of the Christ. Actually,
he did say David, you know, wrote this 700
Psalms,
years.
right? Because it's all true, every single word of it, including all the traditions that were developed after it was completed. Oof.
Time is fake anyway.
Mel Gibson got so many things.
Also, I really hate that he's like appealing to a modern movie made by a very devout Catholic. It's
who has some anti-Semitic.
He's a raging anti-Semite. It's not even subtle. So, I mean, when you call Winona Ryder an oven dodger, it's not cool. So, he's not a good guy, and he made torture porn, but religious. So, great.
Right, but not everything is correct in it.
You know, the new one's coming out.
I can't wait
next year,
bro.
They're filming it right now.
Yes, people need to know the brutality of what Jesus went through for us. There was no pedestal that he was standing on. My friend Scott Stripling, the archaeologist who endorsed my book, The Jesus Discovery, has proven and shown that the victims, forgive me for holding up my foot,
he of sterling reputation, Scott Stripling.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the part I don't understand. If you look at the Shroud of, let's play what he's going to say about
directly through it. So if the cross is in the middle, they essentially straddled the cross, and the nail goes through the calcaneus.
Hey, is that what the shroud looks like? Because I'm pretty sure they drove it through the top of the foot.
Yeah, the shroud has his feet overlapping, and the blood, the wound is on top. So what he's saying is that the way crucifixion was performed doesn't line up with the Shroud of Turin.
He just wants to show off his boots, I think.
All the way through and pins him.
You guys remember
to
there
the
was
cross.
that
How do we
years ago? There was that website, or it was like an Instagram account or something about preachers with sneakers. The where somebody was tracking mega pastors' footwear.
I don't remember that.
I do remember this.
It's weird that I remember this out of all of us, but that's what this reminds me of. It totally does.
Know this?
Yeah.
We have in the Israel Antiquities Museum, we actually have the heel bone of poor old Yehohanan, Jonathan, who was crucified under the reign of Pontius Pilate.
I'm sorry, yo.
Stumbles over it 3 times and still gets it wrong.
Man, is he from the South natively? Because the only people I know that just add syllables to words that don't need them are us Southerners. Because Yehohanan is that's a new one on me, I gotta say.
They had to get him buried before nightfall, Sean. They couldn't get the nail out of the calcaneus, out of the heel bone, and so finally they just said, "Forget it. It's nightfall. Just bury the nail with the heel bone and throw it in the ground and throw it in the tomb." And so when Jesus dies, yes, he dies by asphyxiation, but based on the hematological reports, he also died of a massive heart failure.
The hematological,
which is interesting to think about.
These
the
are
blood loss, heart failure.
The coroner's report.
This is from the blood.
It was a preliminary one. It wasn't the finalized one, and this was just an interim coroner, so it's can't be taken as seriously.
Okay, that's why he's talking about hematology, which is again data that we definitely have, right?
It definitely.
Oh,
is.
okay.
Into your hands I commit my spirit. No one takes my life from me. I give it willingly. But people need to understand the brutality of it, and this shows that. So the provenance of the shroud is fast.
Do you
What
want
else
to
can I
just
say?
looking at the time here? Do we want to
Yeah.
maybe jump ahead to 26:26?
Oh yeah, that's where I was going.
Just talking about the Isaiah scroll.
Oh, here we
yeah.
go. Yeah, this is gonna be good.
Oh, do we have, I'm sorry, I just want to hear him say the name of the scholar that's such a good friend of his. Tristan. Do you have that on the
that's at 32.
So that's further down the road.
It's still coming.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll get there.
We'll go there after this.
Hopefully soon.
This is
Years
actually
earlier.
not that. It's fairly short, but yeah.
The great Isaiah scroll is right next to you right now. This is a facsimile because the Israelis have not allowed anyone to see it since 1968, by the way, the actual.
Well, it is on display right now at the Shrine of the Book. Of course, don't go to the Shrine of the Book right now, but
Don't do it. Yeah.
But also before this, he says like you could only see this in the Vatican. You could only see this in the National Library in Paris, and it's like, okay, they had replicas on display like 15 years ago at the Vatican and the National Library in Paris. You've been able to access the entire thing online for years and years and years. And yeah, and like you can get replicas. It costs a lot.
What he's talking about are he's talking about the specific replicas from antique artifacts.
Okay.
You'll find this funny. Is a company that was co-founded by Weston Fields of the Dead Sea Scrolls Foundation. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he has some questionable associations. But that's I remember this, right? When the Museum of the Bible purchased their replicas of 1QS, 1Q Isaiah A, and 1Q Pesher Habakkuk, is the set that you can get for just the bargain basement price of like $50,000.
50,000. Okay, because when he brings up the Codex Vaticanus artifact or replica like that, you can go online and those are for like 3,000 to 7,000 euro. You can buy one of the 450.
Okay, yeah. So he makes an awful big deal out of that one. But all of this is just a lot of this is just him talking about the quality of these replicas that antiques artifact. Like, okay, yay, goody.
Yeah.
It's like
okay.
Thing until just recently, like within the last few days. So anyone who's been to Israel to the Shrine of the Book, and my good friend Aldolfo Reutemann used to be the curator of the Shrine of the Book, so I know this because I've been there and knew the curator. The facsimile, what you see in the Shrine.
He's just like he does so much of this name dropping. Like that's all this is. It's just and I don't know. Everybody's his friend, so I have no idea. I mean, this is no different from me coming on here and talking about my friend Adolfo Reutemann.
And my friend Adolfo Reutemann, I had lunch with him at Trinity Western University. So
it's like we've all this is not special. This is not
but it's more true if you name drop. Remember, clout equals truth.
Yes.
Duh.
The book is a facsimile. This is a facsimile that my friends at Facsimile Editions produce in London, and it is. I want you to touch it. It's open to Isaiah 53. That is column 44 of Isaiah of the book of Isaiah, and you're looking at chapter 53, which most Jews won't read in the synagogue.
Wrong.
I want to do the Dr. Cox. Wrong.
Yeah. Wrong.
This is such an asinine conspiracy thing. You're wrong. The notion that it was like the lectionary like goes around. You have 52 and 54 and some other, but that's because they're thematically based, and 53 does not fit the theme of forgiveness.
We match our prophets and psalms and writings to the Torah portion of the week, and they're thematically related. So you're not even going to read all of the prophets and the writings throughout the year. Just you can't, like, the thematically, you're not going to get to them. There is no sense in which Jews are forbidden to read Isaiah 53 or don't read it because we just happen to know it's about Jesus. Oh my God, it's so obvious. That is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not true. It is false. Stop saying it. Don't believe it. That is asinine. I hate it so much. So much.
So controversial for whatever reason. They just kept on printing those copies of the Tanakh for hundreds of years.
I know.
You know,
like, do they think that we're just gonna, burst into flame if we read it or something, or if it's gonna be like turning around? What's the anime where the guy turns the card around, the guy just like, come on, this is nonsense.
How many passages in the Bible is no Christian ever going to read in church?
Oh, God.
The overwhelming majority of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is.
But that's the Old Testament. That's what they pull out. Like, okay, so you really only care when you already agree with something.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Thanks.
Because it's so prophetically accurate about what happened to the Messiah. That's the entire book of Isaiah found in.
J. Jonah Jameson doesn't know what like context is, because if you just read a little bit before the chapter starts, it tells you who it is that they're talking about.
It says it's Israel like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. Who is this? They don't know. It must be Jesus. Come on. Hate it.
Qumran Cave 4. And this facsimile, from what I know, what we have here.
No, not Qumran Cave 4. Qumran Cave 1.
The 1Q Isaiah A.
1Q Isaiah A.
Yeah.
He said Qumran Cave 4.
That's the one part of that. Yeah.
No.
Just.
And that's, I don't know. I mean, that
can only be seen
is that
in the Vatican right now.
It could be a slip, right? It could be.
It could be, but also like people who don't know, the number that comes first is usually the cave they found it in. So if you say 1Q, blah, 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 that's the first cave. Come on.
Facsimile of just Isaiah is going to run you 29,000 pounds.
Wild, eh?
Yeah.
So that's what, 32, 33 US or something?
Surely the dollar's doing crappier than that.
I don't know. I don't care about doing math when it's almost Shabbos.
It can be seen at the Bibliothèque, the National Library in Paris. It can be seen at the Museum of
Bibliothèque. I'm sorry. I'm just going to dunk on this guy. It's too easy.
The Bible. So we have the same facsimile they have at the Museum of the Bible in DC, and we've got it right here at the Sean Ryan studio right now.
Holy cow.
So the value of it is off the charts. It's 24 feet long. Of course, it's found at Qumran. 250. It antedates Jesus by 200 years, 250 years.
Big
and
numbers there
that
for
is
God.
the oldest witness that we have to the book of Isaiah. Again, showing the stability of the text.
I had to double pause it, Vish. I had to double check on this because so
it's like 125 to 150, isn't it?
Yeah, 125 to 150. I have colleagues who would prefer a date closer to the 1st century BCE.
Damn.
It's thanks, Grumpy Librarian.
Is that really
almost 40K?
I went and looked at the new carbon dates just to make sure that that there were no samples taken of 1Q Isaiah A, and there weren't. So that's it. Like, it's 125. I would say probably at best 125 BCE. It's a far cry from 250 years.
Yeah, but you notice claim after claim after claim after claim is inaccurate. Even where it's something that's supposed to overlap with his specialization, but even where it doesn't, he's still deciding to bring up claims that he doesn't understand. He's bringing in a replica that cost him or his organization tens of thousands of dollars, and he can't even get the dating right or the cave that it was found in. Like, this is so sloppy. It's so superficial. It's so performative. It is such an embarrassment as someone with a PhD from the UK that this is how we're being misrepresented on such an enormous platform.
What do you call a man who performs like a confidence trick? Let me know. It'll come to you eventually.
Okay. The next book that we have of Isaiah is 1,000 years later, and it's essentially word for word correspondence.
All right, Kim, do it.
All right, we got to do it. Sorry.
Say the line.
Are we doing okay?
Word for word.
Word for word.
Word for word.
Wow.
Wow.
It's too bad we couldn't see Dan when we did that. it looked like you were doing a very good Joe Rogan impression.
I'm getting the Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah, I hear it too, like every time. But I think part of the reason for that is because Rationality Rules did a video about it when it came out and put a whole bunch of clips together, which included an Owen Wilson. But he said something else in there too. He said that there wasn't another
1,000 years later.
1,000 years later, he's talking about the Leningrad Codex. That there's this,
which would be 1,250 years if it came from 250 BCE. But
yes, so clearly, but I mean, this is he's ignoring like is he talking about complete intact books? Is he talking about just Hebrew copies? Because we have all these, well, not all these. We have a couple of these magnificent Greek translations, right, that date from the 4th century of Isaiah.
Yeah, and the Aleppo Codex is complete, isn't it? For at least when it comes to Isaiah.
Yes, it's got a complete Isaiah in it.
Yeah.
But he's also missing. You know what else he's also missing? Very importantly, there's another 21 copies of Isaiah at Qumran, which
are more faithful to the Masoretic text as well. Like 1Q Isaiah B, significantly more faithful.
That's the really important one, right?
And they're like, look at this manuscript. It's like, this is the sloppiest of all the manuscripts.
Yes. Because even though all of those other copies of Isaiah at Qumran are fragmentary, and I am convinced that almost all of them are not, like, we're never our complete copy of Isaiah, right? Like there's a lot there, but it's we at least 1Q Isaiah B it's still fragmentary, but we're confident that this was a completely intact copy of Isaiah 1 to 66. Like it was all there. That's there. It's like you said, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You summed that up very well. It's sloppy. It's performative. It's and all these things too. Like most of this stuff is it's nitpicky bullshit, but there's just so much of it, right? Like it's a
gish gallop. It's throwing everything against the wall. And what is the Brandolini's law? The amount of effort to contradict bullshit is
I've always heard it as the bullshit asymmetry principle.
Yeah.
If I imagined when I started my YouTube channel, if I imagined this was the direction I was going, I might have just called it Brandolini's law, honestly.
Yeah. This is so nonsensical. I hate this.
And this also shows how long books lasted. So this was at Qumran for 250 years before Jesus. So these apostate Bible scholars who act like the New Testament would have just evaporated. One said, "Oh, within 20 years we would have lost the autograph."
Where the hell did that come from?
His ass
says that. Who? Did you catch that?
These apostate.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
He's suggesting that there's scholars out there who cast doubt on the New Testament manuscript tradition because the manuscripts don't last long, I think, is what he's suggesting. It's that stupid that I'm going,
I don't understand how that could be at all significant.
This is painful.
It's not. And for the record, Milan Popovich, who led the Hands That Wrote the Bible project that did the recent carbon dating, 5, 6, no, it's got to be longer than that. I think 7, 8 years ago, wrote a really good article about useful life of manuscripts. And you're talking the ballpark of about 200 to 250 years, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
I thought it would have been
could be in circulation.
I thought it was more like 50 to 75 years, but he said
really
200 something.
200 to
well,
250.
This is just based on I think I'm probably hearing that from, I don't know where I'm hearing that from, but
maybe
I think
papyrus.
Probably I don't know. I don't know. Look into that.
Just flies in the face of the facts. That's fake news. And so you read from right to left. To whom has our report been, to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? And that entire column you're looking at is Isaiah 53.
Okay.
Isn't that amazing? So if you kept going, you would, by the way, if we kept unraveling it, we would get to Isaiah where Jesus, do you remember when Jesus preaches in his home synagogue in Luke 4? He goes up and he preaches Isaiah 60 and he says, I've come to heal, help the oppressed. And he says, today this is fulfilled in your midst. And he sits down after reading Isaiah 61, 1 and 2. He reads all of Isaiah 61, 1 and 2, except the last verse, the day of vengeance of our God. He sits down and he says, this is fulfilled in your midst. And in his own hometown, they want to kill him because they immediately knew that he was quoting Isaiah 61, claiming to be the Messiah. So if we kept unraveling, we're at Isaiah 53, we would get to Isaiah 61, 1 and 2. Isn't that marvelous?
Except he's quoting the Greek translation in Luke.
Which does that match the Hebrew?
It doesn't happen to match the Hebrew. It happens to add things that are not in the Hebrew. So yeah,
I've been reliably assured by very confident theologians and pastors that they're word for word that they're the same. He was quoting.
I once listened to a guy suggest that if we could extract fingerprints from the back of this particular not the actual 1Q Isaiah A, not the replica, but if you could extract fingerprints from the back of it, maybe you would discover that it was that Jesus touched it, and this was the actual manuscript that he was reading from in the synagogue. So, and as recorded by eyewitnesses and passed on to Luke.
What's the thinking on what language they would have read in the synagogue? Would it have been a Targum that they would have opened up, or would it have been a Hebrew Torah? Well, this would have been a Torah scroll.
I think it would have been.
Prophets.
I think it
probably
would have been a Hebrew.
Proper Hebrew. Okay.
I think so. So, but that's and I think part of the reason for that, though, I think is that I'm like, I don't know how much our how stable our Targum traditions are that far back either, right? Like it I don't know. The only Aramaic translations that we have of biblical texts prior to whenever Targum Jonathan sorry, what's the first one? Is Onkelos, I think is the first one. Yeah. Which I think is first century or second century CE, I think. But the only things we have are some fragments from the book of Job at Qumran. So it's a good question.
All right.
It is
extremely rare, but I wanted to bring that for you to have just an appreciation of the incredible reliability and authenticity of what happened to Jesus, and an appreciation. I mean, this is written Isaiah 700 years before Jesus.
That's a claim.
So I gather from this that he is not an endorser of Deutero Isaiah. Just throwing that out there.
That's a safe assumption.
What do you think he does with all the manuscript traditions that vary wildly from the Masoretic? Do you think he just goes, oh, well, those are just fake. They don't match. We can just ignore them?
You know, I would love to know if I ever got face to face with Wes or any of these other dudes. I'd be like, and the Jeremiah manuscripts at Qumran, what do you do with that? What do you do? And just see them flop, and and try to figure out what they think.
Well, I mean, the important parts are those are the same. They don't really change. No. No. Yeah, I know. That's exactly my reaction as well.
So that's the great Isaiah scroll.
700 years before
Jesus. And then that scroll itself would date to Turin.
So pause it for a second, Vish, because I want to point out, just like Joe Rogan kept repeating over and over for weeks after Wes Huff said that it was word for word. This is what stuck out to him on that whole conversation. The thing that stuck out to Joe Rogan was that 1Q Isaiah A is word for word identical to the Masoretic text. Just like that, what Sean Ryan is impressed by is that this was written 700 years before Jesus. And he said this was written about him 700 years before Jesus. This is why this shit is so problematic.
Because he has millions of viewers, millions of people around the world now think he had an expert on, confirmed that is true, and they're going to start spreading that misinformation as well.
Yep. And they're going to get real upset when you tell them it's not true. Yeah, but an expert said it. You're just an atheist, skeptic, apostate scholar.
I'm either an atheist or a Mormon, and then they can't figure out which is worse.
It's all bad though, right? Like it's just
it's just bad.
Because I think Glenn Scrivener has called me an atheist. Somebody told me that he said I was an atheist. I was like, well, I don't know what is worse in his eyes, that I'm an atheist or a Mormon, but that neither has anything to do with the quality of my scholarship.
Okay. Yeah. You wanted to hit the I'm going to get the name wrong too. Is it
Tristan?
Casabianca. Tristan.
It means
Casabianca.
Yes.
So let's jump ahead to 3204, Vish. And yeah.
Okay.
And this data has been suppressed. I want to make this very clear. Something I also learned: the British Museum suppressed the raw data of the carbon dating for 27 years.
He's talking about the Shroud. This is the carbon dating data from the
they did not suppress it. It was published when it was not conventional to release all of the data at once, and then I don't know who was in charge of it after that. Some people asked for it, and they were like, no. And
the past was the worst.
Just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carbon dating is done in 1988. We do need to mention this,
but also,
because
again,
all the people who comment. Well,
this is another thing. Is he natively from the South? Because suppressed instead of suppressed. I'm just saying. Listen, I also have an accent that comes out sometimes. It happens. So these things are sticking out to my ears.
What about the carbon dating? Mm-hmm. No one should use the carbon dating from 1988 as a reason to think that the Shroud is a hoax. So in 1988, carbon dating is done on the top left corner of the Shroud. I showed you the top left corner of the Shroud, the Reyes fragment area. The scientists said, please date it, but whatever you do, don't use the edges. Don't use the fringes. I don't know if you could tell, even on our replica, we actually reinforced it with gaff tape because it's a shroud. It will fall apart. It needs to be patched. And so we know, based under the microscope.
You could have just put some fray check on it, dude. They sold it for like a couple of bucks at the craft store. Sorry, the costumer in me is coming out. Yeah. He's got a lot of lateral tension. And I hear a twang, so it could be like Oklahoma. Sorry, it's just sticking out to my ear. Someone else in the chat also says Texas, but anyway.
That there are cotton fibrils that are weaved in with the fine linen to keep it from just totally, but it's fine linen throughout it. But the edges, they had to reinforce. 7 laboratories were supposed
Point of order. So there's another interview where he talks at more length about this, and he says that they begged him beforehand. They said, we know it's been patched, we know it's been repaired, so don't take from the raised corner, from the edge. And they did say, please, one, they wanted multiple different parts of the shroud tested rather than just all taking everything from one spot. And they did say the edges are where there's a higher risk of contamination because that's where they're handled more frequently, and that's where like they're being sewn together or to a backing and things like that. And they did take it from a corner, but he insists that they told him we know it's been patched, and this is based on a misrepresentation of scholarship by Reyes, who said, I see cotton fibers in here, and I think this is cotton fibers that got into the weaving of the thing in the 1st century. He doesn't say we know this is 1st century, but he says these kinds of cotton fibers were common in the 1st century. We can't rule out the 1st century, but he suggests that the cotton fibers were part of the original creation of the shroud. And so after the carbon dating, you had Rogers and some other scholars who said, oh, that means it was patched. The cotton fibers mean it was patched. And then other textile experts looked at Ray's little strip, his piece of the shroud, and said, it looks like contamination, like cotton fibers just got on there. There are some places where it seems to be worked in a little deeper than other places, but they were like, none of this indicates that it's been patched. So he speaks with a lot more confidence about contested claims by the scholars. He says, we know it's been patched. No, you don't. Some people claim it has been patched, and the majority of experts have said no, it has not been patched. So this is all BS. He's just asserting contested claims as fact.
And the patching is done in such a way that it's indistinguishable
invisible
from the original weave.
Invisible patching is what they said.
That's not a thing. They do that to explain why they get such a discrepancy in dates and why it doesn't. It doesn't go back to the 1st century and blah, blah, blah. It's so ridiculous.
Carbon dating, only 3 did: Zurich, Oxford, and Arizona. Why 7? We don't know. Then they get up on the chalkboard and they write 1260 to 1390, and one of the guys just sits there like this. Of course, one of the guys got a $5 million endowed chair immediately. By the way, after this, you can look it up for yourself.
This is false.
Yeah,
this is
he's
false.
just alleging corruption and things like that.
Yes, that there were mysterious forces in the background with millions and millions of dollars to throw at people. What happened is shortly the shroud testing was one guy's last hurrah, and then he retired. And they set up an endowed chair in his name after his retirement, and it was £1,000 or no,
wait,
it was £1 million.
It's not even his chair. It's his. It's like
a memorial.
So he never sat in the chair.
It was for another guy on the team, but and it was £1 million, not £5 million. So again, we've got a superficial awareness of what happened, and we're misunderstanding it and asserting misunderstandings and contested claims as fact. And he said this over and over and over again in interview after interview. He knows the data as he is presenting them. Like, this is not a matter of him saying they pierced my nails in my feet. He's not misspeaking.
No,
because he says the same stuff over and over and over again, and it's not true. Or they're claims that are rejected by the majority of scholars. So I want to get to him talking about Tristan.
Yeah.
This reminds me, there's a meme that we've kind of developed over on Dapper Dinosaur's channel, and it's about young Earth creationists, but it applies to these types of apologists as well, where you have a triangle and it's like, pick 2 at most. Honest, well-informed apologist. Can never have more than 2 at any one time.
Yeah,
so,
that sounds like I had a similar triangle my old job. I would say you can get the job done fast, you can get it done cheap, you can get it done well. Pick 2.
Correct.
And
that's the rule
thing.
in costuming as well. You either need experience, expertise, or skill. You got to pick 2. So
very specious. Why?
Money, expertise, or skill. Thank you.
So. Did he get a $5 million endowed chair after 1260 to 1390? Somebody should find out. Someone should do a PhD on that. So they write that. And then the British Museum suppresses the raw data of the carbon dating for 27 years. And Tristan, my buddy, great scholar, he does the equivalent of a freedom.
Why would they suppress it if it doesn't confirm the shroud anyway? This is so dumb. It's a conspiracy theory. I don't care. To make
I want to see what he says about his good buddy
carbon
Tristan.
dating for 27 years. And Tristan, my buddy, great scholar, he does the equivalent of a Freedom of Information Act to finally get the raw data of to know, like, what did you test? How did you test it? Do you know what he published? He published, and I want to be technical, the samples they used for the carbon dating are not homogeneous with the shroud itself.
Did you edit something out of here?
I don't,
because he tries to say Tristan's last name, and he.
Oh, I think it's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay.
He does.
We don't even know if they tested the actual shroud. John.
Are you serious?
Yes, Tristan Casablanca pointed this out.
Okay,
so
Casablanca.
Casablanca. That's not my name. That's not my name.
That's not my name.
His name is Casabianca. Like the first time I heard this, I don't know this guy from Adam. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup, but I read 3 or 4 of his papers, and he said Casablanca, and I was like, that's 100% not the dude's name, because that doesn't mean anything. And there are other interviews where he repeats that last name. He doesn't even know the dude's last name. But he also does not know this.
Like 100%. When I heard him say that the first time, I just thought he made it up. I'm like, because it's because Casablanca. I'm like, it was like it seriously sounded made up to me. So
yeah, so Casablanca and Casabianca, they're 2 different things, but also he entirely misrepresents the research, because his paper, his 2019 archaeometry paper, and he points out published by Oxford, because Oxford is the publisher of the archaeometry journal. He says that he proved, or would you mind just playing that again? I'm sorry, I'm getting excited, but just play that part again.
What do you mean?
We don't even know if they tested the actual shroud. John.
Are you serious?
Yes. Tristan Casablanca pointed this out. So in a 2019 Journal of Archaeometry published in Oxford, people can go look this stuff up.
It's in Oxford.
This is not conspiracy.
Here we go.
But
in Oxford.
He said that it is not homogeneous with the rest of the shroud. That claim has absolutely nothing to do with that paper. That paper is about the heterogeneity, the lack of homogeneity between the 3 different samples, because no one has ever radiocarbon dated any of the other parts of the shroud. Like, I read that paper after I saw this, I was like, I don't remember that. I read that paper every single word of it, word for word, word for word, word for word. Wow. Like 5 times, because I was like, where is he getting this from? And the very last sentence of the conclusion is like, we cannot verify the confidence in the dating of the shroud, or its, I forget what he said, unity with its consistency with the rest of the shroud, or something like that. So the very last word is like, we don't know. None of the research had anything whatsoever to do with any other part of the shroud. It was entirely about the fact that the disparity in the dating between the 3 laboratories is more different than we would expect. The carbon-14 results actually show there's a gradient, that from one side of the strip to the other side of the strip, the fabric seems like it is getting a little older. And so that's what they're talking about. The heterogeneity of the tested fragments. There are absolutely no data that suggests that the strips that they tested were not consistent, at least in terms of origin, from the rest of the shroud. And he just lied and said that the guy whose name he can't even pronounce, even though he's his good buddy,
they're good friends,
published this paper saying that it was not homogeneous with the rest of the shroud, which 100% is wrong. That is not what that paper is arguing at all. So,
and also the church.
How does he get away with this utter bullshit?
Yeah,
because he's confident. It's a confidence game. He's a confidence man, or a con man if you don't have a lot of time. But also, the church doesn't want people taking the center chunk of the frickin' shroud.
Well, yeah,
it's a holy relic. They're like, I mean, you can take the edges. I mean, if nobody notices, because right now, since we don't live in a Star Trek future, you can't just scan a tricorder over it and tell how old it is. Our methods of testing right now are destructive.
Carbon dating artifacts is controversial. It's always an enormous task just to negotiate the material. But I have a question. Because he has presented this as part of a big conspiracy. Is there any part of that article which talks about the suppression of data?
It starts off by saying that they submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for the raw data, and they were in 2017 they were able to acquire the data.
Okay.
It might reference that the British Museum was not very forthcoming with it or something like that. But it does not accuse the British Museum of suppressing data, from what I recall.
Interesting. Got it. All right.
Stuff. So I think be a reader, learn from everyone, but don't let anyone think for you. Okay. Go read the 2019 Journal of Archaeology.
Okay.
I'm not convinced he's read the 2019. Now, because I think Casabianca has said elsewhere he doesn't think it is contiguous with the rest of the Shroud, but that has absolutely zero to do with the research that was published in that article. Yeah. So what I think we're taking his personal opinion, obviously rooted in his faith, his commitment to the authenticity of the crowd, and we're trying to leverage a peer-reviewed published article to authorize the unrelated personal opinion. And I don't know if that's intentional or if he is just very bad at reading scientific papers.
Even if the Shroud is real and it belonged to Jesus. Let me just grant that for a sec. That doesn't get you to the resurrection. That gets you to Jesus was a guy.
A very
nuclear
guy.
Got crucified. That's all that gets you to.
Who had very disproportionate anatomy and somehow managed to cover up.
Looked like Slender Man.
While he was dead, he somehow managed to keep his genitals covered, even though it meant he had to hold his elbows up off the table to do so.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So
it's not important.
No, I kind of see like he's been traveling all over, traveling extensively, researching the Shroud and talking to people and conducting interviews and reading stuff. It really does sound like he just sat down and had coffee with this guy who wrote this article that he hasn't read, and he probably said something to him about that, right? Like where he thinks it.
No, I have no doubt that Casabianca has told him he thinks it's a medieval patch or something, a repair or something like that. But again, that's not what's in the article. No.
Yeah.
So
Trojan source. I can't wait for it. If I had known we were going to reference this paper, I would have had it pulled up so that we could have Trojan source right here live on the air.
That would be fun.
I have it.
Oh.
Hey. Tell you what. I will stop sharing because I'm about to have to leave anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
to jump, but
where did it?
You've got
fun logistical things that are not actually fun, but I have to.
Yay. Do okay, let me see if I can sharing. I have no slides.
Oh.
I have no slides and I must share.
Screen sharing was canceled. Make sure you click OK.
Yeah. So. Cool. Y'all behave. I'm gonna go have to do grown up.
See you, Vish.
Good to see you, Vish.
have fun. So moving is the worst. I'll just say that. And while you're looking for that and trying to,
I don't see a share.
Really?
Option.
Oh, weird. Because you're in StreamYard. Why?
Aren't you? Yeah.
But why don't you?
Yeah. Oh, there's share screen. Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
It's
just this boy. So
I've got too much crap up. Let me find. I just got to find the file in the list.
I'm gonna blast through a couple of these super chats. Well,
go ahead.
Figure that out. Tree Clam Tad for $2. Expert in barrel traditions equals whiskey drunk. Most likely. Thanks for that. Thunder Stud says for $5 says Dan's the apologetic tank baby, the best there is. That's awesome. Oh, look, there's an offering here from our friend Steven over at Cross Bible. At 140, Johnston claims that Jesus' siblings accuse him of being a bastard in Mark 3. Yeah, that's true. At Mark 3:21, where does he get off suggesting that? Like so many of these things, he takes advantage of the fact that people don't read the text closely, and so asserts stuff that is vague. It's vaguely reminiscent of things that happen in the text, or very loosely implied by things that happen in the text, and people just take it on face value. So Dennis Jensen for 45 Danish kroners. Late to the stream because of watching Dan's 2-hour response. Yes, longest video you've ever made. I'm still working through it. So
hopefully the longest I'll ever have to make.
Still, I'm learning a bunch about the Trinity too. There we go. Awesome. All right. So cool.
Okay. So as you can see up at the top, Casa Bianca. And he talks on this. It talks on the first page about the middle of that paragraph. Or maybe it's
after in 1987 after a day. Oh, that's still about the testing, right?
Yeah, since 2005. Where is the? I think it might just be in the abstract. Yeah, the raw data were never released by the institution in 2017 in response to a legal request. All raw data kept by the British Museum were made accessible. Yeah. Okay. So a statistical analysis of the Nature article and the raw data strongly suggests that homogeneity is lacking in the data and that the procedure should be reconsidered. So this paper is entirely about the raw data related to the radiocarbon dating of the 3 samples that were taken from right next to the rays portion. Yeah, and I want to get down to, here we go, the very last sentence. Without this reanalysis, it is not possible to affirm that the 1988 radiocarbon dating offers, quote, conclusive evidence that the calendar age range is accurate and representative of the whole cloth. So that's the only part where this paper even references the relationship to the rest of the shroud, but in no way, shape, or form whatsoever does any of the actual research, calculations, testing, analysis of any of this paper have anything to do with the relationship of those samples to the rest of the shroud. It is all about the and you've got graphs showing all the different segments, the Arizona part 1, the Oxford 1, the Zurich 1. It's all about the fact that the 3 samples had heterogeneity between them. So that is
it's not even about, because the way he presents it, he's presenting it like the article is about the actual sample, right? Relative to the, like, it kind of sounds like
he's presenting it as about the relationship of the sample to the rest of the shroud.
Yes,
and it's not even wholly about that. No, it's totally wholly internal to the sample. It's just about the sample.
Oh, man, that's fun. That's fabulous. So, you good to do a little bit more?
Yeah, I can go for about 20 more minutes.
All right. Do you want to? We got some. I kind of wanted to look at the James ossuary bit, or do you want to talk about his presentation of Codex Vaticanus?
Yeah, I think the Codex Vaticanus one I think is more interesting. Right. The James ossuary, that's always a headache. And I don't think I watched more than, I think I was watching and then he brought it up and I was like, and I'm done. Because I knew it was gonna be. Ugh.
It's always that way. I mean, so I should say that it's unsurprising to me, right? Because he's a very good friend of Craig Evans. Craig Evans was both his MA thesis supervisor as well as his PhD thesis supervisor.
There's an awful lot of overlap between the supervision of those two.
Quite a
things.
The same thesis that he, so that's a whole other thing. But right after the exhibit of the James ossuary at the Royal Ontario Museum back in 2002. Evans published a book about ossuaries, and I remember when this was going down, and he was very excited about it. He's a big believer in the authenticity of the James ossuary. So it's unsurprising. So I think this is, let me just double check, make sure I got that right. This is close enough. He's going to start talking about
skeptical within 100 years of the event.
So here we go.
What's this book here?
Oh my gosh. So
what is this?
This is, I cannot wait to show you this. Can't believe what I went through to get it.
You paid about $5,000.
There's 450 in the world.
Well, you can. There were 450 made, and there are many available. Like, if you let me share my
for sale. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do that
because here I'll share the. You can just go look it up. It is
find it on eBay.
Well, it's not eBay. It's a specific website, but
like an antique book buyer. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So Zereis facsimiles, Codex Vaticanus B, and you can look at the photo. That's it. The book that he has on the table. Inquire current price here, price category somewhere between 3,000 and 7,000 euro. So it's a lot more affordable than
he's making it out. Well, it's certainly more affordable than the replicas of the Dead Sea
Great
Scrolls.
Isaiah Scroll.
Yeah.
But like there were 450 of them made. They didn't sell all of them, so they're out there. So and he makes it sound like this was like the backup copy that the original scribes of Vaticanus made. Like
we'll watch it here, right? Like we'll watch it here, but it really does make it sound like these were made because the Vatican didn't want Tischendorf to see it or to work on the actual. So it's a bit of a mess. I don't think this is right. Because I wondered, I thought maybe Trinity has a copy where you and I did our MAs, but I don't think so. I think it's the facsimile of Leningrad that they've got. I know they've got a really they've got a very nice one, but I never went to look at it. So, but yeah.
Sean Ryan, this is, I think, could be likely the oldest Bible that we have. This is Codex Vaticanus. Now, this is a facsimile. You can't hardly see the real one in the Vatican Library, but
you can see pictures, high resolution pictures of every single page.
Yep.
On the internet,
and it has an annoying circular watermark going around every single page. That it's the property of the Vatican. But yeah, you can, just like Sinaiticus, just like Vaticanus, just like the Great Isaiah Scroll, you can get high resolution photographs of every page of these things on the internet. So while this is an interesting little artifact, an interesting little replica. Like this is not special.
No, it really isn't.
450 exact facsimiles were issued and signed by Pope John Paul II on Christmas Day, 1999. And we just acquired the facsimile of this ancient Greek Bible that dates to 330 to 325. It is the entire Bible in Greek.
Okay. I have a concern. He wants to say you can date it to within 5 years.
That's wild.
330 to 325. Paleographers, in my experience, they would be like maybe 50 years. Maybe you can get it within 50 years. But I'm curious if he's trying to suggest that this is one of Constantine's 50 Bibles.
See, I think that's what he's doing, right?
And if he's
isolating it to Nicaea, right?
But that's the problem. He didn't commission the Bibles until 331.
Okay.
he commissioned Eusebius to do the 50 Bibles in 331. So does he not know when that was committed? If that's what he's trying to do, if he's trying to say this is within 5 years of Nicaea, therefore it's one of Constantine's 50 Bibles, that's nonsense. And the precision of the dating is also utter nonsense. Yeah. I think most scholars would say maybe second, third quarter of the 4th century. So maybe like 325 would be the earliest anyone would say. I think most scholars would say more like 340, 350. Yeah. And then Sinaiticus, probably the same. What do you F
I don't know
New
enough.
Testament manuscripts enough to to get a sense? Because I've seen some people say no, Sinaiticus is earlier. I've seen people say no, Vaticanus is earlier. I don't have strong feelings, but I'd like to know where things
when
stand.
I have questions, I just email Brent Nongbree. And
I need to get to know Brent. I don't know Brent, but I love his work.
Yeah, he's shy, but he's fabulous. So if you do need to get
that reminds me of something. I was every time I think of Brent, I think of Dirk Obink.
Oh yeah,
and I think Jeremiah name drops Dirk in his book, God. Like my good friend,
because of course he does.
And I remember reading that and being like, ugh.
It's like, are you a crook? There's a good chance that that you're just the kind of guy that Jeremiah wants to have a coffee with.
Yeah.
Boy.
Wow. I will have to track that down, but yeah, he I'm almost positive in this book he talks about Dirk, and I was like, good grief,
God, that's hilarious. That's just but isn't that I mean, I don't know. It feels like that's not surprising.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's part of this world too. I mean, that's the other thing that I think frustrates me so much about stuff like this is the cavalier attitude from a poser like this.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the material culture and the artifacts, like we're not going to look at the one section that really, really pissed me off, where he basically just came out and said, environmental forces be damned. We should just exhibit all the artifacts all the time because you know what? We'll figure it out.
And you know, he's willing to fork over tens of thousands of dollars for these things. So obviously he has no compunction with generating a more robust fake antiquities market. So
that's yes, it's a mess. I'm gonna press play.
Yeah. Okay.
It stops at Hebrews. Probably we've just lost some pages. And
that's
we
it.
have
That's
and
it,
this
Dan. They just lost some pages. I don't know enough about it.
Well, the manuscript does end on a page where it ends at, you know, the last line is in the middle of a passage in Hebrews, and that's just the end. So yeah, I think it's true that they lost some pages. However, there are some interesting things. Yeah, so like it doesn't have Philemon, it doesn't have the pastoral epistles, and it doesn't have Revelation. Now in Sinaiticus, all of that is after Hebrews. But there's also a lot of stuff that's after Hebrews in Sinaiticus that is before Hebrews in Vaticanus. So, you know, the text critical value of that is, you know, that's kind of a black hole. Because I at one point I said in a video a couple years ago that Vaticanus doesn't have the pastoral epistles. And it's like, it's possible that they did and it was lost, but so I've just stopped bringing up Vaticanus when I talk about the pastoral epistles because somebody's going to be like, it could be there. So
yeah, no, it's true. But I continue to remind people, as a manuscript specialist, we have what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And there are ways that we can make reasonable speculations, but that carries us only so far.
the accident of preservation is our greatest boon and our biggest enemy in so many ways.
Yeah, she is a capricious bitch. So
I wasn't going to say it.
It's my channel. So.
Okay, no, it's
Again,
in his published dissertation. He says, "I thank Dr. Dirk Obink and Dr. Daniela Colomo for being available to me for blah 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 blah." So
you know what that means, though, that because
that was before a lot of the stuff came out.
It was, and what that means is Dirk was there to unlock the door and to shake his hand and to sign him in to the to the Griffiths, right? So
the amazing stability of our text. If I open this and read it alongside your English Bible, there would be very few differences, or what we call
so when he's reading the Greek text alongside a translation in a completely different language, there's almost no difference.
Yeah, that's just not true. There are a lot of differences. For instance, Codex Vaticanus doesn't have a lot of stuff that is in the Textus Receptus and therefore the King James version. And I think Vaticanus's the short or long ending of Mark is absent from Vaticanus. I think it stops at verse 8, doesn't it?
Yeah,
in Vaticanus.
He mentions that.
Actually. Oh, does he mention it? Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of differences. And Vaticanus is actually missing a whole bunch of passages that a lot of scholars would say were original, and for whatever reason, Vaticanus just booted them out. Yeah, we got a bunch of passages in the Gospels that are not in there. So
would Vaticanus have the pericope adulterae, or would that be
no? Vaticanus wouldn't have it. That's not till later. And we don't know if it would have had any non-canonical early Christian literature like Sinaiticus does, because we're missing the very end.
Ends. Yeah.
So there are differences, but yeah. So it's not any more special than Sinaiticus or anything like that.
Yeah. Even from a translational perspective, though, right? Like it's offensive to me to suggest that that translation is just as simple as putting the two texts side by side and going, oh, look, they're exactly the same.
There are a lot of, just because you know ancient Hebrew or ancient Greek doesn't mean you know how translation works. There's a lot that folks don't understand about what goes into translation.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Certainly no contradictions. It's fascinating. The ending of Mark, which I could find, ends at verse 8, not at verse 20.
Can you read all this?
Oh, absolutely. So
how does this? I mean, how does this translate? Have you done that exercise?
I have to. Yeah, to do what I do, I have to. So this is written in Greek unshul. These are majuscules. That's again how we date it. So what I am an expert in is codicology and paleography, how we date manuscripts based on handwriting style.
He published that one manuscript as part of his
dissertation.
Paper.
Yeah, what are the Achim or something like that?
Achim or Achim.
Achim, yeah.
Codex or fragment.
So that was the Editio Princeps, his dissertation.
You know what? I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure it was I don't even know. Was it the Editio Princeps or was it just a review of it? So, but that was it. I mean, it took up 2 whole chapters in his in his book, right? So, but as far as I'm aware, that this is the only manuscript that he's ever published anything specifically about.
Yeah,
in peer review.
Has he done anything peer reviewed since his dissertation?
So I was looking for a CV and I couldn't find one, and I didn't do a scholar search on him either. But I'd be surprised. I mean, he's been so busy, he's written. He says
By
he's written
in
15
facsimiles, and he's
that's
writing
it.
a lot of trade books.
Pulp, so pulp scholarship. I don't know what do you call it? Apologetics. So but it doesn't seem like he's been especially active in the kind of circles that I frequent, or that you frequent.
Previously unprovenanced. I can try to find it for you.
I do think it's kind of funny how much he's trying to get the book back, and Sean Ryan is just like,
Well, I know based on Wes's interview, it sounds like you get invited on the show, you must present gifts to your benefactor.
He does do that.
Does he?
At the beginning, we skipped that part, but he gives him a replica of P52, replica of P64, which he says dates to 200, which I think is exceptionally early based on what I can see. And then he gave him like a replica Roman spear. What's interesting though is it didn't look like Sean gave him anything.
Wes got a gun that he was not going to be able to bring back to Canada.
It's like, wow. So he got the short end of this exchange.
Previously, like my PhD was in a previously unprovenanced 2nd century fragment called the Gospel of Peter, the Achmem Gospel fragment, and so would be.
It's very possible then that his is the Editio Princeps if it's an unprovenanced fragment.
Okay.
But I don't know enough about it. I'd have to go back and look. So, but he certainly marshals that into a lot of things.
Okay.
I'm 200 years before they.
I'm looking at a bio. I can't find a CV. There's not one readily available, but this bio says Jeremiah is published by Oxford University Press, E.J. Brill, Bloomsbury T&T Clark, Macmillan, Moore Seebeck, Lifeway, HarperCollins, Thomas Nelson, Whitaker House, Postal Press, Destiny Image, Bethany House, and Baker Publishing Group. So it certainly sounds like he's got some academic publications.
Interesting. Huh. Wow. I mean, I guess. Wow. I know. I think he got onto some dictionary articles.
Oh yeah.
I have to. It's been a while since I looked specifically into it, but
on the fragment.
I don't know what he. It's stuff that when he was working with Craig, he got. He got some dictionary entries like we all did.
It looks like he edited a T&T Clark volume.
Okay.
With Craig. So.
And the dissertation was published by was it De Gruyter or was it
That's T&T Clark, so that's Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury, okay.
Yeah.
That one's T&T Clark. So I don't know.
Okay.
The A's, the Ethiopic Bible. I mean, we have just such a great manuscript tradition. We have a great text basis for our faith that gives us, again, early eyewitness testimony of Jesus. And when I'm doing historiography,
it does none of those things.
No.
The earliest it gets us is to like the mid-2nd century, with scraps or a scrap.
Yeah.
And then even within the Gospels, there's the ways in which it drives me crazy, the ways in which apologists continue to want to redefine this word eyewitness. I mean, on the basis of what exclusively on the basis of what Luke says in his introduction, which I don't know, it might be one of the most easily misunderstood parts of the text, because yeah, all of that is just a lot of nonsense.
I'm looking for early eyewitness testimony, not certainty. I'm looking for probability.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
so that was
there's probably no eyewitness testimony anywhere in the New Testament.
probably not. So all right. Well, we got a bunch more super chats, and then we should
Okay.
probably.
Then I gotta bounce. Yeah,
You
I gotta go
bounce,
get.
yeah.
I gotta
So-
get some dinner set up for the kids
All
and
right.
me.
Okay. Okay. Big Zebra for $5. Thank you very much. Canadian beaver bucks, my friend calls those. Lots of streams have well-lit alcohol bottles in the background. I have to say, I have massive studio envy when I do look at on Ryan's spread.
This is performative masculinity. Like there's one that has a bunch of liquor and then like a race car. Like in their studio. It's like very performative masculinity, nationalism, all that kind of stuff.
It is a lot of bottles.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of bottles. I could do without the guns and the American flags, but does it suggest a high level scholarship to the uninformed?
It suggests he's a man's man.
It really does. And those are the kind of people that he has on his podcast.
Yeah.
So
180 pounds, between 5'10" and 6 foot.
5'10" and 6 feet.
Glistening when he's coming out of the shower.
You walk 20,000 miles. There's a whole checklist that you have to. Yeah. So David Lenz 6607 for 199 says, if medieval forgery, what facts does he use then? So I mean, I mean the shroudy stuff. It's I mean a lot of this is it's human blood. It can't possibly have been a photo. It can't possibly have been painted. It what else is there? It looks like the weave looks like some things that you see in very, very old Byzantine pictures from like the 5th century. If you squint really hard, things like this, right? Like lots of it's very conjectural. It's not. There's no evidence.
Yeah,
that it is 1st century. That I think that's just it. We have the sudden appearance in the 13th century, right?
14th century.
14th century.
Middle of like 1344-ish, somewhere around there.
We have the account of the bishop or the archbishop who says that he informed the Pope that this was a forgery.
That was like 1389, something like that.
Yeah. And they had to, when they were displaying it, they had to announce to people that this is not like this
a
is
work of
not
art.
an action. This is a work of art.
Yeah, and I love the account that was written to the Pope. It was like basically says we caught the guy and he confessed, and well, or at least my predecessor, the prior bishop of I forget the name of the city, but yeah, he said he caught him and he confessed. So
it sounds pretty open and shut. It really does.
Yeah.
Robo for $7 says JPL Almanac. I want one. Vadim, who's been a member here for 10 months, says, what is that thing under guys' show? Are those supposed to be
thorns,
I think, from Jesus Christ?
Yeah, that was a replica of the crown of thorns, the helmet of thorns.
The helmet of thorns. That's right. Ninjester for $5 says 1,666 scholars put in 61-hour worksheets on the Shroud, so his estimate could be correct as of April 1st. Chrissy Hansen, good to see you, Chrissy. Taxes are for the week. I never pay IRS. Wait, someone's at the door. Just a sec. They say they're an auditor, whatever the hell that is. Thanks, Chrissy. Will Clark for $10 says, if the Day of Atonement is Yom Kippur and Jesus was the sacrifice for atonement with God, Why did early Christians equate Jesus with the Passover lamb rather than the Yom Kippur sacrifice? And I don't know. Have you thought about this much at all?
I think there's some blurring of the lines regarding the sense in which Jesus meets the criteria of specific sacrifices. And this gets into your atonement theory as well. How do you imagine that
what
Jesus
kind of an atonement
dying?
is this?
Yeah.
So it's I mean, a lot of this, when you get at the base of it, right, is I mean, I think it's a combination of very early Christian apologetics and theology, important theology, and I think too, maybe even perhaps not early on, but eventually some general conflation of the things over time. Thanks for the question, though. My good friend Nitty, I made the kids listen to you in the car. I'm home now. You may now discuss other relics like the holy prepus.
That's Jesus's little schmeckle, or at least a piece of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got
there were several of them, if I remember correctly. So, Chrissy Hansen's back. Dr. Jeremiah Johnston is what happens when your critical thinking skills recede as far as your hairline. Ouch. Ouch. I didn't say it. So I'm glad I didn't say it. Tree Climb Tad for $5 says, you can't make up women going to a tomb. My good bitch, one of my favorite books is about a hyper intelligent mutant sewer shark.
You can make up a lot.
You can. Hardwired Hate for $5. Aliens. This guy reminds me of Giorgio. Yeah, right. It kind of does. Giorgio Tsoukalos. That's the History Channel guy, right?
Yeah, I
see that
it
really
too.
does.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Navy Jet Fixer 1562 for $10 says Frank Turk utilizes the criterion of embarrassment or principle of embarrassment as a key argument for the historical reliability of the Gospels and the truth of the Christian faith. It's just an apologetic argument at this point.
I mean, there are historical Jesus folks who would talk about that as a way to understand what parts are more likely to have originated very early, close to the events. But the notion that, like, the criterion suggests this story is more accurate, therefore the Gospels are historically reliable. Like, apologists at some point have to try to leverage the stronger arguments to overcome the weakness of the rest of the arguments.
Exactly. No, I think I mean, maybe as a good example, right? An example of this using these embarrassing features to suggest some level of historicity might be in sort of an opposite way. The major lengths that the nativity traditions go to place Jesus in Bethlehem as opposed to Nazareth, right? Scholars will tend to suggest that Jesus probably came from Nazareth because it's featured within the text as an element of embarrassment. So that's kind of there's a lot more to it than just saying, well, this sure sounds like it could be. But yeah. Lil, thank you for the $2. I will make sure Dagan gets his treats, but I'm going to blast through the rest of these. So you'll have to just trust me. Aniti's back. Joseph of Arimathea's Shroud and Burial Logistics was Amazon tier. Prixie Purple, who's been a member for 10 months, says, y'all are thinking too hard about his authentic nail. Dude thinks the Shroud of Turin is real. Yeah. Like I said, Brad, I'm pretty sure he just got it at a gift shop in Jerusalem. Now I'm well, if I ever go back, now I'm on the hunt for fake nails.
Fake nails, yeah.
So yeah. Hank Fishy for $5 says, heads up, can you buy Roman nails on the antiquities market or even eBay? 5 Roman Empire iron nails from Inchtathil Fortress, Scotland. Oh, look, you found some for 37 pounds, apparently.
So Etsy's got a lot of them.
Yeah. But these are just yeah, they're not crucifixion nails. They're just Empire era nails.
Okay, so here's I see a website that has one that has Roman nails, but they're 1st century Roman Britain. And they're the same style of nail as well that he
that's the one that he pulled up.
Yeah, $300.
Yeah. That's it, eh? Wow. He did say Jeremiah's shirt for his video is making shit up. Nerd Church Official, friend of the channel. Sorry I'm late to the party. I made a video introducing myself to any LDS viewers of my channel in case Dan is bored. Nerd Church Official does the Catholic lectionary every Sunday and talks about the texts from a critical perspective.
Oh, cool.
Pretty good. Yeah. The Kalish for, do you know what these are? Are these
CRC? Croatian Royal Crown or something like that?
I think so. Isaiah 7:14, behold, the Lord shall give you a sign. I will make shit up on all of this podcast when this shit curds and honey, my apologetics will no longer work. They never seem to get to that part. It
looks like it's a Costa Rican cologne.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat.
Archaeology triops.
And I'm not even going to try. But thank you for the $10. Dan has transformed my Christian faith. This conversation has been enlightening. Do more. We're doing everything we can. So far from engineering for $5 Canadian says, can the difference in age for the shroud dating be explained by how it was stored or rolled? I don't know.
Not really. There are a lot of people who say that the differences in aging is attributable to a fire that broke out in the 16th century. But I've got like 3 papers in radiocarbon dating journals from the last 10 years that all say we ran experiments and the fire and smoke, even contained within a little glass case, none of that changes the CO2 or excuse me C14 results when you then clean it and test it. So no, that is not a way to account for a 1,300 year shift. I think there's a scholar named Hugh Ferry who has a blog called the Medieval Shroud, which is really, really good.
It is good.
That's a phenomenal blog. But he talks about, he's got a paper where he says for contamination to be responsible for the shroud reading 14th century, there would have to be 4 times as much contamination as shroud. So they would have whatever they're testing, that little piece of fabric, it has to be 4 parts contamination to 1 part shroud.
Well, when you were talking about the cotton fibers, I was imagining in my head the problem, the philosophical problem of replacing every plank in the boat as you're sailing the boat, and you get
the
a
ship
new boat
of Theseus.
The ship of Theseus. I was thinking about that, right? I'm like, wow, this reminds me of that too. But thanks, Far From Engineering, for the super chat. The Behold Network for $2 says, Kip, tell Dan I exist. Thanks. This is my friend Lawrence over at the Behold Network. He's a terrific guy. I wrote a letter of recommendation for him for grad school.
Oh, cool.
Recently, but yeah, he does he does stuff, but predominantly with the New Testament. But great guy promoting critical scholarship.
Awesome.
So there you go, Lawrence. He knows you exist now. Vadim says, Kip, tell Dagon I don't exist. So Dagon is my dog. So I'll be sure to do that. Tree Climb Tad for $2 said it last week. Keep the guns, but Pride the studio. Tree Climb Tad wants to see the same studio. He's happy with the gun collection, but wants to replace all the U.S. flags with Pride flags. So, which I think would be an upgrade. Jessica, the Transmetal Alchemist, for $2 Australian says Dan has the coolest background lighting. It's very yeah. It's very kind of. You've got green and kind of a purple.
These do a bunch of different colors. So
yeah. It's not always the same, is it? You always do the same colors, or
I might accidentally change the color at some point. I just want them to be different colors. When TikTok went away for like 13 hours, and I was like, well, YouTube has to be my new home base. Now my camera has to be this way, and now you're seeing a lot more of my background. And I had people tell me you've got to set yourself off from the background more, and so YouTubers will use different color lighting. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll do that. So. Then I started getting the "you're turning into a Twitch streamer" comments on YouTube, but the lights create something that's that sets me off from the background. So unless I accidentally turn it too far, and then I get lit up the same color as the background. So this is what I have to do to try to make a living. So.
You do, dude. You do a lot more than I do. So I'm still using my cheap ring light. All right, Chrissy is back to say that I'm supposed to tell you to be agnostic about the existence of gods after I went to all the trouble. Very confusing. Simone reads texts for New Zealand, $5. Simone is a graduate student doing rabbinic stuff at Otago in New Zealand. I hope I got that right. Is it Otago or Christchurch? Let me know. It's one of those. Someone needs to pay off the apologist to shut up for a few weeks so we can get Kip streams on good stuff like the Job Targum, the Damascus document, or in the Honayot. I try to mix in some teaching streams here and there. It's hard though. But thanks, Simone. She runs a blog, by the way, called Simone Reads Texts. It's very good.
She called me out recently on my blog.
She did.
On her blog. True. So
yeah. Awesome.
Go read it, check it out. She got me. That's for sure.
She's
and Simone is a part of my I have a Patreon, and we have a Discord associated with my Patreon, and Simone is on there quite a bit. She is one of the regulars there. Yes.
She's very bright.
Keeps me honest.
Me too. So Erkan Fatizeki for I don't know what these are either. So is this Turkey? It might be Turkey. Turkey. Is there a way to build societies? Okay. Is there a way? Turkish lira. Is there a way to build societies without religion? Is there any book you can recommend? Thanks a lot. That sounds like a you question.
Well, there hasn't been an awful lot. I think every society that has existed, at least civilization, has had religion deeply embedded within it. Certainly there are social groups that are around that don't have religion, but there is research that suggests the pro-social forces that religion facilitates can be reproduced without religion. They've studied certain strong social democracies and suggest that strong social safety nets and things like that are replicate the effects of religion. I don't think there's a book that says how to build a society without religion, but there are academic papers out there that talk about the effect of religion on society and what other institutions and forces and factors replicate that effect.
Yeah.
So,
I was just gonna say I continue to think that you can build productive societies with religion as well. It's
kind of a social glue, and it's been so prominent that we don't really have examples of societies that have that have popped up and thrived in its absence.
Yeah. But thank you for the question. I did want to. Somebody had asked. They noted that you wondered if you ever purposely choose a fit for this video idea, apropos to the video that you're responding to.
It's very rare. It has happened, but people think I've intentionally done it a lot more often than I have actually done it.
That's actually more fun, I think, if people are starting to invent lore of the connection between your shirts and the video. That's way. I think that's way better. Mike Allen for $5 says God's propaganda was great. Thank you very much, especially for introducing me to Amorphous Skyforger. Amazing album. It's one of my favorites. I had it on repeat when I visited Finland, which is absolutely the right place where you should be playing the album. Skyforger is a Finnish band. They're phenomenal.
Okay.
And finally from Lawrence, speaking of Discord, everyone go and sign up to Lawrence's Discord, the Behold Network. It's great. There's a very active Bible channel on there with a lot of really, really bright people. So that's it. Thanks for coming out, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So yeah. Anything coming up that you
I'm working on my next book. And I'm behind, so I need to be working on that. I'm going to be next week at Harvard Divinity School. There's a religious trauma symposium, and my podcast co-host and I are doing the keynote. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun. I'm going to be in Italy the first week of June for an Enoch seminar. Which will be a lot of fun, but yeah, really the book is the priority. I need to get that thing written. Yeah, and then I published a 2-hour and 28-minute video in response to Glenn Scrivener yesterday, and I'm recovering from that. So yeah,
go watch that. I'm not finished. I'm learning a lot about the Trinity as I watch it too. So that's good. I appreciate it. So tomorrow I will not be on with on Dapper Dinosaur's channel tomorrow, but I will be on the line tomorrow afternoon. I think at 4:00 Pacific, I believe. I'm sure you'll find it if you search for it, and then I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, there is one more thing. Wednesday, I will be on Chesh's channel with MC Tune having a conversation about the Bible and the shape of the earth. It's interesting, right? So I don't know if you're familiar with him, Dan. MC Tune is a flat earth debunker. But he's also pretty he's pretty convinced that the Bible is supportive
of flat earth.
He's pretty certain the Bible is supportive of the science. The
really,
yeah. So we're gonna have a talk. So, but
all right. Well, I hope that goes well.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for coming out, and everybody. You know where to find Dan. Make sure you show him lots of love. And until next time, as always, be good, stay safe, and Ha Tikva.